Strings up, she's in the zone, breaking it down from her comfy throne. Smart as hell with a side of flair, politics sass and a killer stare. Casey's lurking tail in the frame, chat's already playing their games. That target day, sharp and bold, hot takes drop while the chaos unfolds. Truth with bite, filth in the way, still showing up every streaming day. Brains and vibes, she leads the pack, now buckle in, no looking back. That dark night, let's go!
Hello, everybody. Do not redeem. Hi, Congo. Hi, everybody. Hi, Barmy. We do listen to the mbop over here, but we have our own version thanks to Creamage. Most of what we listen to here is Creamage's music. Like the intro. The intro was a Creamage original. So I hope you liked it. It has a good beat, right? Okay. It is pretty pop though, poppy. But I do enjoy it. Yes, my hair is wet because I actually worked out, guys. I almost gave myself the excuse that I was like, no, I'll be too late for stream, so let me just not work out. But it was like, no, I got to. What did I do? I just climbed out of the TV. What do you want from me? You know, it doesn't work as well now that TVs are quite flat, but you know, I got out of it. It was fine. I did a lot. I had to do a lot of Pilates lifting and things like that getting out. Did the wig arrive? Yes, it did. She's over there. I still have to figure it out. Oh. Thank you, Barmy. Barmy is going to get his song. Thank you for the gifted membership, Barmy. As if we need excuses, but here you go.
Yo, Barmy. Let's fucking go!
Let's fucking go. Never mind that we have the first 5 minutes.
Yeah. Fucking pop, bro.
Hey, Shake.
Let's go.
This is Barmy's mbop. I think it's pretty good. It's pretty. You know what? I want to wake up to this song.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
In a moon bop, they're gone. Yeah.
It's really good. It's like that being like your wake up song. It's like you're gonna have a great day if that's your wake up song. Right. So are we good? Everybody good? Good to see everybody. When do I get my own song too? I don't know. You have to harass me as much as Barmy did. But see, Barmy harassed. No, he didn't harass. He was just sweet. You'll see. Good morning. Also, Creamage needs his own emote, but am I gonna make him pink guy? I didn't see if you had a response yesterday, Creamage. I was talking about creating a Creamage emote for members, and I think the bit where they actually get to the prompt is coming up. Oh, that's good. But yeah, Creamage would be a glass of milk, basically, is what, with pink guy in it, I suppose. So let's just check. So because this is milk. Yeah, this is what Zax uses for Creamage, but we would have a custom Creamage milk. I don't know, maybe a milk carton, so a cream carton with pink guy would be Creamage's emote. So then Creamage cannot change his avatar for a very long time without consulting me. Right, let's get our background music on again, courtesy of Creamage. I'm the art guy, get Beamer. I'm not the art guy, get Beamer to do it. Please, man, have you seen the quality of my emotes? A filthy Frank sticker would slap. So you would just... I don't know if you can use them anywhere, use them elsewhere on YouTube. It's only on in the person's chat. Okay, let us get everything else going. Sorry about the delay, guys, but it was for my health, and anything that keeps me healthy means that we'll have better streams. Let's go. Oh yeah, let's get X-Mind up. And also, I do blame you guys for yesterday's slowness, because we had lots of conversations. Okay. Let's get our transcript up. Yay, more diagrams. Yay! They're great, guys. I hope you enjoy. Well, I enjoy them. I really enjoy being able to go, look what you said. Right. Get transcript up. You're on thin ice there, Kiza. Right now, the fact that other people are being nice to you means that you're allowed to stay. The new Kitty Comes meme kind of slaps. Oh yeah, let me show that. I need to put that into the media assets. You know what? We're a scuff here, and we're waiting for people to hurry up and join. I need to retweet us on Twitter. I don't even know how I'm live on Twitter though. Although Scoob comes and says hello when I'm live on Twitter. There we go. Yeah, I still haven't added it to my media. So guys, Creamage gave us a great. It's in the Discord, so you guys have seen it. The people who are on the Discord. But save as, where do we even put you? Meme videos, where is it? Debate videos, stream asset videos, still series. I think it's in here. Memes, yeah. Okay. It's better than the shut up bitch one clip. It's higher definition, so we can get it through. Yeah. I'll get it for you. You guys were here, so I don't, but still. The new kitty meme comms. So here it is, guys.
Shut up, bitch! Keep the comms clear!
So that we can, let's put that in the what's the name? In the Thinkers studio, so that whenever they get rowdy, I'll
Shut up, bitch! Keep the comms clear!
So yeah, that's what we're going to do. Is this debate about feminism again? Yes, it is. I love shut up bitch. What you like? Which shut up bitch do you like, Master? Because this one is
Shut up, bitch!
it is a lot more intense.
Shut up, bitch! Keep the comms clear!
I don't know. I think I like the second one better. Because it's a lot more fun. The other one's a bit more violent and maybe a bit too much. Like even Gordon smiled when he heard it, and usually he doesn't like it when I'm cussing. Okay, so let's go. Right, then we got our X-Mind up. Let's get our. I like the first one better, more punchy. Well, we got both of them at least. I'm not going to get rid of one for the other. We get both. I think with the shut up bitch can just, when I'm extra angry, when I'm ragey, we can do shut up bitch. Okay. Right. So we got to yesterday. We got to Jesus. I'm only getting my first dose of caffeine right now from here, so let's go. Gordon is against cussing. I take back my marriage proposal. He's irrational. You know, he doesn't like it from ladies. I mean, I swear a lot, but I swear fairly, but and that's okay. It's not like he's like about that. But when I get too overboard, he'll be like, no. So, and I think if you're trying to be in a manly relationship, he'll be fine. except, you know, for the whole heterosexual thing. Daisy is in the sun by the window. She's not coming to me now. I'll let you know when she's around her. You know, I'll speak to her and completely lose focus on what I'm doing because of the cat. You know this. Also, what's up, D? That's actually one of Daisy's names is D. The D. I love a foul-mouthed lady as long as she doesn't call me dude. Okay, yes. When I've been really angry at Gordon, I've called him dude. That is like, you know, like with Caesar Milan, where he goes to the dog that's like aggressive. If you say dude, that stops us both. If one of us says dude to each other, both of us are like, whoa, what is happening here? So if he calls me dude, or I call him dude, it's like, whoa, we're going a bit too far with this confrontation. Bud and champ is worse than dude, to be honest, really. Oh, I also honey. I can't call him. No, there's no honey. There's no love. Yeah, love as well. Can't call him love because he knows how derogatory I'm being when I do that. Why are you gay interview diagram? That would be fun for a Friday. Why are you gay interview? Why not? For a Friday diagram. Why are you gay? Gay. Why did we find it funny? Diagram. That guy's all over the internet now. If you watch any sort of reels or shorts, he pops up everywhere. What the fuck do you call him? I call him my baby. You guys know that I call him my baby. And I'd never call him shitface. Shitfaces are the only he has to spend time on my channel to be a shitface. Okay. He comes in every now and then, but he's a busy man. Okay, here we go. Yesterday we got to 20 minutes, really. And what we were last speaking about, which I enjoyed, because she's like, oh, this, basically remember we were on Holly saying, she's trying to explain that feminism isn't based on thinking that women are unfairly treated. And she says what it is about is they're focused on domination. They're talking about justice. Sex roles constraining women's potential because of stupid ideas of what a female's nature is. So that's what she is on about. She thinks that that's not to do with fairness and unfairness of women's treatment. She says none of that is about unfairness to men. In this way, you could do the tallies in 2 columns. So remember we're talking that one of the main topics of this debate, or topics, is that we tally up how unfairly everybody is treated according to sex, and we're supposed to, for feminism to be valid, females would have to be more unfairly treated than men. That's how it would work. Whereas we can easily identify ways in which society actually makes life quite difficult for men versus women. And that's what they're kind of, they're having a bit of a conflict with. And we ended yesterday off with the other side, the non-feminist side, Bryan, saying, well, all of those things are actually examples of unfairness. So let's see. Shitface is a term of endearment where I come from. Well, that's why you belong here on the channel, because shitface is exactly why what shitface is a term of endearment on this channel too. So I like how feminists don't say that's a good deal and just be like a crybaby. Well, that's the thing though. They really are on this thing that they are the most unfairly treated now, especially as well. It doesn't make sense. And I think what would make them logically sound, at least, is if they're well, she's trying to do it. She's trying to say, well, it's not that I don't, it's not that I think men are treated more fairly. It's just that I'm focused on women. being unfairly treated. That's it. She's changing the goalposts a lot of the time. So I just want to get to 2008. That's the last time we were. Let's put auto scroll so we can jump to 2008. By the way, the thing that I'm using, if you guys are interested, it's called transcripts, YouTubetranscript.io. You can get all kinds of things here. It's not a sponsor, but check it out. This is what I'm using anyway. You can actually, it gives you your transcript. So obviously a YouTube video will have a transcript on it, but it extracts it really nicely. You can jump to certain timestamps a lot easier. And look, it does mind map it if you really want. And summarize, you can get key quotes, all of those kinds of things. Right, so it's a cool tool. Let's go 2001. Well, let's get her here.
Who really worked for women's interests as she understood them, but would fucking hate the label feminist, like with all her being.
Holly, do you think it's fair to say that most feminists, Phyllis Schlafly, as we discussed, is an unusual example, that most feminists do think that women are treated in general unfairly, even if they would concede that there are some instances where women have a better deal than men?
See, having this point over here, this is the person who's talking here, having that point is that they should accept this. They should concede. Most feminists think that women are treated in general unfairly, even if they would concede that there are some instances where women have a better deal than men, particularly in contemporary Anglosphere, right? I think that's just admit it, own this point. But here's all her argumentation about no, it's not. She doesn't actually agree. So we actually got a bit further than this. Maybe the transcript's a bit different. Play.
The times. That's why I did want to make it comparative in that sense. Because like if you just say it's the view that women are treated unfairly, then I'm totally on board because they're human. Here's, I just want to say men are treated more fairly because everyone's treated unfairly.
I was treated unfairly, but it wasn't a slight against women, qua women. What we're talking about is unfairly as a group.
Yes,
so
exact focused term, I have to say, like
this
the
is
unfairness and what I said in
this is where she's at. This is her answer when she's asked about the this question over here. Okay, she's asked a question and then here, a naturally focused term, fairness. So let's just go.
Opening remarks about is this supposed to be strictly comparative, or is there some objective notion going on of how people should be treated? My sense is that, and again, like Bryan says, he's talked to lots of feminists, this doesn't seem like an unusual definition, at least, and maybe with I don't know what that is, that more public sphere people or columnist people, or is that academic, I don't know who those people are. In my reading, and especially focused on the second wave,
okay, listen to this now, guys. Listen up. I know we're rehashing this, but this is the last contentious elbow we were at. Hey Theo, I worked out today. That's why my hair is wet. I worked out before stream, so that's why. Usually it's supposed to go after stream. So empty without me. Hey Timber. Meow, 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 meow.
Talking about domination, they're talking about justice, they are talking about sex roles constraining women's potential because people have stupid ideas about what a female's nature is. None of that is about, at a time, unfairness relative to men in this way that you could kind of do the tallies in the two columns. It's just not their focus.
So now she's going to tell us what their focus is. And yes, I am a staunchy. That's why I'm wearing my tank top, boys. Actually, most of the exercises were hip exercises.
I'd say all of the things that Holly just mentioned would be canonical examples.
Mom, you mean your hair is wet from a shower, not sweat? Yes. No, my workouts would only get sweat underneath. You wouldn't see the sweat. It's here when I sweat. Jeez, if I worked out to this point of wet hair, there's no way I would be sitting here. I'd die.
Examples of unfairness. So men are dominating women. It's that sounds like an unfair thing to do to someone.
Yes. Okay. So there we go. Men are dominating women. That sounds like go through them, please, Bryan. Go through them, please. Okay? Where he goes, that's some domination, focused on domination. go through them. Say domination is unfair. What about the justice? Da, da, da. So let's see.
Men are constraining women's opportunities. That seems like an unfair thing to do. Here's a passage that I really stuck with me in Holly's book.
Oh, okay, so now he's bringing up the passages. Fine, I understand having read I suppose reading your opponent's works is reading their argument. So anyway, he's gonna give us he's going to give us a passage that explains this. Go pink. You know what? Hold up. I'll get you some. I'll get a pink cover thing. Go pink. It's because of Theo that I'm doing this. See? Pink. There we go. I'm a feminist now. No, chair stream hype is over. None of that. You guys don't get that for very long. There you go. Pink. Kitty ass reveal? What? You didn't see nothing. Okay. Pretty. Yeah. Okay.
So yeah, men's ideas.
Bye, Timber. Have a good day. So he then quotes especially examples of unfairness. He does go, okay, domination. Domination. What did he call it? Mentioned would be canonical examples of unfairness. So men are dominating women. Men are dominating women. Women unfair. Men are suppressing women's opportunities. Unfair. I hope you all know how unfairly you treat your woman. Apparently. Keep rising, feminist. Thanks, Timber. I really appreciate what you were talking about. I'm reading Samuel, and you were talking about David being after God's own heart today. So I was thinking of that because of you. So thank you. Thank you for your tweets. Okay. Men are suppressing women's opportunities. Unfair. Oopsie. And then self-determination is okay. So here, then he gives us the quote. Okay, this is separate. I'm putting this separate. That seems like unfair thing to do. Here's a passage that I really read that really struck with me in Holly's book. So, you men's ideas about women have. Oh, she got caught. She got caught. So she can't. What I was thinking when he said men are suppressing women's opportunities. Yeah. So like men are suppressing women's potential because of stupid ideas of what a woman should be. Right. I thought that what she could do is say, well, I'm not accusing only men of suppressing women through gender roles. I just think the concept of gender roles in the whole of society, that's the problem. But here in her book, she has said it's men's ideas. David, the murdering psychopath, being a man after God's own heart. Well, yeah. I was comparing that literally in the way he writes some of the Psalms, the way he goes so hard on how he wants his enemies destroyed. I'm like, whew, relax, boy. I'm a feminist that respects I want women to do all the work for me. Yes. Master, you were saying that in your industry women make more money. What is your industry? Is it OnlyFans? I'm kidding. Okay, so let's hear him.
It's about women have shaped the cultures into which women are born. Self-determination is a response to this history. It is women who must decide for themselves what a woman is and what it means to be a woman. Men have done enough damage. Excellent point.
Oh, she hurt herself there. That's her. I'm sorry. I'm gonna copy paste this. Okay, quote from Holly's book. So you don't get to move the goalpost. He's presented the goalpost to her. He's presented the argument to her from her mouth, essentially. She's busy trying to equivocate and move around and unnaturally focused term, unfairness, and let's equivocate. Let's have a good old time over here. And then he's like, cool, but in terms of what you've written, it is written, okay? Really stuck with me. So, you men's ideas. I wonder if the so is in there, because that does give you quite a tone. So, you men's ideas about women have shaped the cultures into which women are born. Self-determination is a response to this history. It is women who must decide for themselves what a woman is. Okay. And of course, a certain kind of woman is allowed to decide what a woman is, right? Not the one that she will approve of, or the one that she and her ilk will approve of, right? My idea probably of a woman is not good enough for her. So she, like, the fact that I will concede that women are more nurturing and women are more interested in people and things, the fact that I concede that is not would not be really connected to her. She doesn't want that as a definition. Self-determination is a response to this history. So she is of the idea that it is oppression that created feminism. It is women who must decide for themselves what a woman is and what it means to be a woman. And of course, men have done enough damage! Exclamation point. Okay, so what does he say? That I'll put this here. This is how he's describing this quote, so it gets put over here. That read to me as.
That definitely read to me like a claim about men being treated more fairly than women, and specifically men treating women unfairly, which, like I said,
specifically, the nurturing thing is who's more likely to unalive their own offspring. Well, I would say with that, just on the surface of that whole idea, is women are taking care of the children, so they actually are the ones that are going to be more likely to be with them and have the motive and opportunity. Where men go and annihilate their entire families. Though that's another thing. Again, we have to go back into the point scoring of who does the worst crime. Who is this? Who is that? We go to the worst of humanity to figure out what is the main characteristic of a human. Okay, must decide for themselves. What did he say? That read to me. That definitely read to me like a claim about men being treated more fairly than women. And specifically men treating women unfairly. Yes, that's more like what I'm thinking. It's not really about men, what's happening with men and what their lives are about. It's about how men treat women.
That could be true, fairly than women, and that definitely read to me like a claim about men being treated more fairly than women, and specifically men treating women unfairly, which, like I said, that could be true. And it is very consistent with my definition that you would do that, because it's just the kind of thing that does motivate a person to be a feminist, to say, you're being treated unfairly relative to men, and this needs to change. Which
does Holly think trans women are women? I think she does. Whereas I think trans women are trans women. So here an example. Of spending, of men treating women badly, unfairly. Of men being treated. Because I mean, it's kind of thing that could be true. That definitely read to me like a claim about men being treated more fairly than women, and specifically men treating women unfairly. Okay. And then that could be true, and that goes with your definition. He's insisting this is what you believe. Stop denying it. Just take it. And it's okay, as in it's okay. It makes sense for you to have this opinion because it makes people want to be feminists. Okay, so, which are, like I said, that could be true. It's very consistent with my definition that it would do, because I mean, it's the kind of thing that does motivate you. It is very consistent. Very consistent with my definition. That you would do that because it's the kind would do that. Okay. Just want to shorten it up. We don't have to have the entire transcript. Because it motivates. It motivates. We are being treated unfairly relative to men, and this needs to change.
Then does bring us back to that empirical question of, is it really true on balance that women are being treated less fairly than men?
On balance, that's where you could disagree. The on balance point. You could say this is what she said in the beginning. Okay, in the beginning, Holly did say it doesn't matter on balance. Okay, Holly doesn't actually assert that. She doesn't need it to be. She doesn't need it to be all of. They need to be the most strictly unfairly treated people. They mustn't be the most. They don't need to be the most oppressed for her to be a feminist. You can be an activist for men's rights in war and women's rights activist with regards to obstetric violence. She doesn't need them to be the most, according to her earlier statements. What's wrong? Does he hold this principle that it's wrong to be any advocate for a group where the group isn't the most unfairly treated out of all the groups in society? Like, she needs that, but he keeps pointing back to the thing that, yeah, well, compared to men, you still have to have this unfairly treated thing. It's not about the rest of the groups in society. It is about male versus female. So she can't really escape that. Motivates a person to be a feminist. And then he'll bring it back to brings. So we are kind of circling again because we are not getting past this thing that we are comparing how men are treated versus how women are treated. Brings back and he does say that he would be a feminist in countries, in non-Anglosphere countries, right? Okay. Brings back the empirical question of whether it's true. On balance, woman. Wouldn't their principle have to be there is a baseline unfairness that we're all subject to, and then we got to and you make that happen, okay? Like, oh, we've got to pay taxes, blah 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 blah, okay? But then afterwards, then we would have to go and look at, okay, well, women in certain country cannot do this, women in certain country could not do this. But I don't know what we're supposed to be doing over in the Anglosphere this year. She needs to tell us, because that's not my problem. I
wonder if this is maybe just like a disciplinary, or maybe we just have, like, as a political philosopher, I would make a pretty clear distinction between a concept of fairness and a concept of justice.
Okay, so this was brought up yesterday, that fairness and justice are different. Okay.
Mm-hmm. And maybe I would say domination is an injustice, and constraining someone's potential, whatever, is an injustice. I probably wouldn't call anything non-comparative unfairness, and I even found it a little.
I wouldn't call something non-comparative unfairness. Okay, so she makes the distinction. Sorry, he made that, it's not her. Okay. She doesn't go here, she goes down. Okay, it's not so much an answer to this. It's kind of in the spirit of the ideas brought about here, right? We've got, okay, fine, she's going to say injustice, or justice, and does she call it justice and distinction between the concept of fairness and the concept of justice. Justice are distinct concepts. That's her main point. Okay, that is the focal point. They always have the we give birth argument that men can't refute. Well, lolcow, actually, yesterday I had a bit of this discussion. I brought that up myself. I don't have that argument in my life. I don't have that because I don't want children. So how do I square that circle? I don't get to go, oh, well, I give birth. No, you don't. No, I don't. I don't want children. So I don't, that I need to find some other value in myself. So if that's, and again, and there is a lot of back and forth with women where they're like, don't reduce us to just being wombs, and then other ones are like, we have the miracle of life. That they both have there's several camps in happy feminist land. There's no such thing, but in feminism, where it's like, yeah, that is this holy grail that they give birth, but then there's others that are like, that's not the only thing that we have. I want a mini Gordon now, not a shirts. Giving birth makes you fat with saggy tits. Nothing to brag about. You created a whole human being, though. That it's of you, and you feed it with your body. It's crazy. It is. It's really an incredible thing to see. Okay, just seeing the miracle play out in my friends' lives, and how I will not deny that, but I don't want that for myself. So, if artificial wombs were perfected and mass-produced, what value would women hold in society? This is quite an interesting question. Is it your contention that women wouldn't have any value in society then? Because I mean, we do have. I could have my own children. I'd have had 5 already. Okay, and you would raise them by yourself. You wouldn't raise them with a woman, or would you raise them with your best mates or something? And also, yeah, but an artificial womb can't move out of the way of danger. Yeah, but you keep it locked down and safe. Feminist land, U-Haul store. Bommy, I'm so glad you're here. Both systems are wrong and horrible. Oh, you're talking about ANC. Check. I laugh at my funny jokes. I've been trying to guilt trip David, Puff, and Vanessa to have a kid. That would be a beautiful child. That would be one hell of a child. You should do that, Creamage. Continue. You have my blessing. You know, because you needed it. Okay, anyway, fucking shit faces. Guys, please, you know, donate to me so that we can get me tested for ADHD. No, I think it's just your guys' fault. I'm an excellent uncle to my nieces and nephews, and I see the artificial wombs as a correction to women replacing men with the state for resources and protection. Okay, so for your nieces, what would you like your nieces to learn? What will you teach your nieces? Do you value your nieces more or less than your nephews? I would hope that you value your nephews more than your nieces. When it comes to your principles. Rats give birth, not much of a miracle. Master. Okay. Right, fairness and justice. Speaking of autocorrect, sorry, D. and jokes. V today in one of his videos he called AI a glorified autocorrect machine. I think that's a great insult for AI. Please, somebody tell that to Grok. Hey Grok, you glorified AI, glorified autocorrect. Do this. Don't speak to Grok that way. Okay, fairness and justice are distinct concepts. This was brought up yesterday. So something doesn't have to be comparison with justice. Justice doesn't involve the comparison. It's just about something being wrong by itself on its own, not in comparison to how wrong something else is. I get that. Justice, maybe I would say domination is an injustice. So she's going back, she's talking about these things here. Okay. So he says those are unfairness, and she goes, no, that's injustice, and those are different things. So here we go. Distinct concepts. So from there, she goes on, I value them equally, but treat them differently, as I want my nephews to be honorable men and my nieces to be honorable women, which they all love and respect their uncle. Okay, as long as they respect you. I mean, considering the name that you give yourself, they have to. Laugh at my funny jokes, stop changing my sentences, autocorrect. Sorry. Just enjoying the word autocorrect. I'm gonna close the chat just now. You guys are entertaining me. Okay, fairness and justice are distinct concepts. I was just thinking I should time out Barmy just because Barmy is the one that's entertaining me the most. Okay, so fairness and justice are distinct concepts. Domination is unjust, so it's an injustice. Injustice. Okay. So we're just playing around with words here. We're going from unfairness to injustice. So they are related concepts. Domination is an injustice and constraining someone's potential. Whatever it isn't injustice, I probably would call anything non-comparative. Unfairness. Okay. Let's go back here. I want to hear you say it.
A pretty clear distinction between a concept of fairness and a concept of justice. And maybe I would say domination is an injustice, and constraining someone's potential, whatever is an injustice, I probably wouldn't call anything non-comparative unfairness. And I
wouldn't call anything but you did just say someone's potential isn't injustice. Constraining someone's potential isn't injustice. Let's say it again.
A pretty clear distinction between a concept of fairness and a concept of justice. And maybe I would say domination is an injustice.
Domination is an injustice. We're good with that, because I thought that's what your stance here is. He says this is unfairness, you say it's injustice, and you're going to go through them and say that they're injustice. But now you go to suppression and you do this.
And constraining someone's potential, whatever is an injustice.
Maybe it means is an injustice. I think that's what you meant, because that doesn't make sense otherwise. Constraining. It's just that the transcript is incorrect there. Constraining someone potential is an injustice. Okay. And I wouldn't call anything, I probably wouldn't call anything non-comparative unfairness. Okay, yeah, cool. So, so you just take out the comparative. Whoopsie boopsie. Let's take out the comparative. But the thing is, he did just read this out, and the comparison is kind of there, hun. The comparison is there. You are blaming all these injustices on men. You're saying men are doing the unfairness. You can't go away from that. Like, these podcasters need hobbies. I suggest yoga or rock climbing. Well, what they're doing is they're not just podcasters. These are academics. So basically, they're educated podcasters that are going to talk about the things they've written about. So they don't have time to do anything else other than write and talk. Okay, so domination is injustice. Yeah. So yeah, she's going this quibble. Oof, if I had to try and hold up. Let's try this out here. Okay. I mean, look, I don't expect you to be able to see it, but this is what I'm doing. Okay. I'm just writing on the whiteboard. So she's got this comparison, right? And that means we have that in it's connected to the idea of unfairness, right? Because it's unfair, right? When we're doing comparison, it's M gets more than F, right? F minus, right? That's the whole idea. Comparison, unfairness. And she's trying to avoid that. She's trying to. Okay, so she is trying. Mamma mia! If I had hotkeys, this would probably work out better for you all. Okay. So she's trying comparison and unfairness. Do we agree, chat, on comparison and unfairness is necessary? Those things go together. This arrow over here, do you contend with this arrow that I've put here? This back and forth arrow. Is that a problem to you guys? Because for me, you need to compare one state to another, one something to another to get unfair. Unfairness is about getting equal on both sides. Okay. Then we've got M. So, and the reason that I put this here, M plus. What on earth is that? I did not order nothing. Just hold on. Oh, I can't go to the door with this. My husband always orders things without telling. It's just usually they just get left in front of the door. There's no need to sign for them. Or if he'll tell me if I've got to sign for something today. That's the value I give to him without having children, is I sign for stuff when he's not here. Okay, so comparison, fairness. I did not reveal my bum. You didn't see nothing. Okay, so are those flowers for Gordon? Are those my flowers for Gordon? Yes. Yes, they are. They're right there. I put them on the shoe rack. Sorry. Okay, so comparison, unfairness. Guys, help me here. Listen to me. I hate when they claim to deliver something and it's not at the wrong place. Oh. Okay, so who was it? Was it Jehovah's Witnesses? Yes, because there are lots of those over here in the UAE. So yes, she is trying to say that comparison, this over here, is not what she's on about. She is on about injustice. Okay, it's completely separate. There is a big. Okay, yeah, fine. They're close. Concepts, but there is a line between them. They're different. Okay? Injustice. What did I put? I think I put this pinkness on my face. Okay. So who was it? Anyway, I'm looking at messages that are not. So injustice. She wants to. So yes, when it comes to unfairness, okay. This means males get more, women get less, right? That's the comparison. This is the definition that that Bryan is giving her, right? That Bryan says this is what feminism is you're saying M gets more than F, therefore it's unfair, and that's what feminism is about. But she is saying, no, it's about injustice. It's not about, men are allowed to have more and have a better life. Injustice is what it's about. She's trying to point to that. What if the men deserve more? Then they should get more. If there was men deserving more, then wouldn't the concept of justice then as well mean that it would be an injustice if they don't get more? So that's the whole idea though there is kind of flawed. This whole idea of the male versus female, if we do support the idea of men and women being together as a unit, as a family, okay, a man getting more would mean a woman getting more, because we are one when we're married, when we're together. But we're, I suppose, in your mind and in many minds at the moment, we're moving beyond men and women being a unit, men and women being together. I think the government should only be forced to get you to the point of being able to play the game. They shouldn't be made to get you to the point of doing well if you're not that good at a job. Yeah, okay. D, at some point, I think it might be not next week, but the next week. Okay, the next week I won't be here. At some point, we're going to do a think about the state, and that's quite a good jumping off point. Whereas what is the role of the state? That's what we're going to be asking for the think. Yeah. God, I've got whiteboard stuff all over my face now. Okay, cool. So I see what she's trying to do, yeah, but we need to keep injustice and unfairness. So yeah, I probably wouldn't call anything non-comparative unfairness. So yes, we need there's no comparative. So there's non-comparative in injustice here. Non-comparative. Okay, she's trying to keep these two things distinctive. Okay, let's see what's up.
I probably wouldn't call anything non-comparative unfairness, and I even found it a little unnatural to stretch to the definition of like objective unfairness, like there's some baseline about how you should be treated. So it might just be that you have a bit more expansive, like
she did bring up this idea of objective unfairness earlier. Objective unfairness being there is a line of fair. So if we're talking about fairness, there's this comparative of unfairness, this over here comparative being unfairness. Then there's another kind of unfairness that she's pointing to with this objective one, where there's this line, objective fairness is a separate entity as well, because it's compared to baseline. So there's this idea of fairness. So there's three key concepts here. There's a baseline. Instead of M plus F over there, that whole thing, there's a baseline that they have to compare to. There's a base that's, okay, there is a level of fairness that say the Bible brings it out. The Bible says what it is, or whatever text you want to, your constitution lays it out. And that's the amount of fairness that you're allowed. And then we compare how everybody's treated compare it to that level and see who's treated unfairly. R.I.P. Bimo, the silly blob. What happened to him?
Or maybe you're Rawlsian or whatever, like justice is unfairness. Like so.
Okay, and there's some baseline about how you hold. So objective fairness. So she says unnatural. Again, I don't understand what you mean unnatural. Now I'm getting, when you're saying the word unnatural over here, I'm getting the weird. When we've had it in previous discussions where it's just weird, Like, no, don't say weird. That's not descriptive enough for me. Unnatural. Okay, well, unnatural, I suppose we're going to say natural is good, unnatural is bad. What do we do with this? Sometimes a slap on the bum is fair. Other times it isn't. Fairness is subjective, not objective. Well, I think that maybe that's what she means by this. Wade, hello, Wadey. Unnatural, okay, unnatural to stretch to the definition, to use definition of objective fairness, okay, objective unfairness, sorry. Like there's some baseline about how we should be treated. That also does seem like a baseline. Yeah, the baseline does seem to be, for me, wouldn't it be the baseline being human rights? Like I explained the other day, that we've got female things, male things, and then we've got human things that are shared between the two sexes. What's wrong with that? I'm not understanding. Okay.
That's fine. Like, we can just make sure we know how the other one is using the concept. But for me, given how I think about fairness, the way you set up the definition is kind of unnatural, and it's not how I hear feminists talk when they try to say, like, the problem is sex roles, the problem is believing in a female nature or a female mind or whatever.
The problem is believing in a female nature or a female mind. Oh. So that it just doesn't exist. Okay, we just don't. A female nature and a female mind just don't exist. We're all the same. That's fun. That must be a fun way to think. Okay. Unfairness, like there's a base treated. Sorry, I need to get back up there. I've only diagrammed. Okay. How you should be treated. So it might just be that you have a bit more expansive definition. Like injustice is fairness, so she's also just done a thing, well, maybe Bryan just sees justice and fairness together. That's the same concept, fine. And it's pretty funny, she uses such female ways to speak about this. The way she's like, well, maybe that's just the way you think. It gives that. Sure, you one using the concept, but for me, again, she's just repeating again. No, this is not how I see feminists. Again, this is not how I see feminists. Again, like repeats that Bryan's definition is not how feminists see feminism. Okay, that's again, she's just done that whole over again. Wow. I hope we get past this. I think it's time now for what's her name? For the moderator to step in and get us somewhere, because we've repeated ourselves. Groovy has got a different profile picture, huh? And he's thinking. The only thing we have is laws. They're only enforceable way of defining the base. Therefore, it's not a man versus woman issue. Change the law. Next closest is religion. What the next thing to change, or what? All the file cabinets behind Kitty remind me of a dentist's office. That's as professional as it gets around here. And these are fabric. They're like card and fabric. These are IKEA things. Right, so
I would say that, I do have a background in philosophy, but when I'm writing an essay for a broader audience, I just try to stick with what I consider to be very normal usage and not to go and try to cut a fine distinction between justice and fairness. I'd say I probably did fairness rather than justice just because justice sounds like a higher brow concept that makes people, and also people start thinking about the law as soon as you mention justice, even though there's no really good logical reason for that. So I just wanted to stick with something that people felt like they had a better handle on. But yeah, I don't think there's, I wouldn't put any I wouldn't attach any big importance to the exact word you're using.
Okay. King of Corn, what the current debate is, okay, so the whole prompt for the whole discussion is, should we encourage our daughters to be feminists? So it's like basically the question is feminism good? Is it a good thing to foster in somebody? Because if we're not going to encourage our daughters to be feminists, why wouldn't we? Is there something wrong with it? So that's the broader discussion. They started it off by trying to having to define feminism, because if we're going to ask what a feminist is, we need to, if we're going to ask whether feminism is good, we need to define feminism, right? So we've got the two opponents having actually different definitions of what feminism is. And that's what the most of the debate has been focused on so far. But I haven't really spoken about whether it's good or bad. They cannot agree on what it is. So it's interesting. One side believes it's about, advocating for women. So the feminist side, the person who is self-identified, who's happy for their daughter to be feminist, she is saying that it's just about being an advocate for women. It's just about that. But what he is saying is, no, feminism is about finding fault in society and saying that women are unfairly treated compared to men, and that is definitionally what is happening in feminism. What's the male version of feminism? Men's rights? I agree with Kitty and her great jeans. Okay, well, do I have to be wearing them for you to agree? Because I'm not wearing them. But these are my nice chill pants. Misogyny. Feminism is pro-woman, anti-man. If I said I am a whiteist, you would say I'm an anti-black. Yeah, that's how it's seen though. Yeah, but she's trying to say it's not. She's trying to say it's not. It's just about women. But I always think it is in comparison to men. Okay, so just sees justice and fairness. So he just goes, well, the whole point about, in response to all of this, he's like, okay, well, I used injustice. Essay was for a broader audience. Used fairness as its more accessible term. Justice invokes ideas of legislation. Okay, so that's why he used that kind of wording. Okay, so what's next then? Something that people felt they had a better handle on, but yeah, I don't think it wouldn't attach any big importance on the exact word you're using. Okay.
Like a higher brow concept that makes people, and also people start thinking about the law as soon as you mention justice, even though there's no really good logical reason for that. So I just wanted to stick with something that people felt like they had a better handle on. But yeah, I don't think there's, I wouldn't put any I wouldn't attach any big importance to the exact word you're using.
Okay.
Oh, he wouldn't put importance on the big word, on the word you're using. It doesn't matter. Wouldn't. So he does not care about the distinction between, I'm gonna put here in square brackets, justice or unfairness. Okay. I would hope now is the time that thanks for that. I thought it was just equality under the law, but it has moved so far from that now. Yeah, exactly, King. That's kind of where I was at. That's where I can get fired up. Equality under the law is definitely something that would be worth fighting for, and I think that we have it. I need laws to be pointed out to me that literally discriminate because you're a woman, and I'm not seeing that in society. But it seems like feminism, now that there are no laws, like now that there is freedom legally, it's gone way past all of these things. It's kind of like it wants to destroy society for the way society is at all. As if society itself, societal rules are the problem, not just law.
Adding on to this, we've mentioned already the kind of cross-cultural comparison here, because Bryan's already said that there were times when it would be justified to say that women are treated less fairly than men, and therefore it would be justified to be a feminist. I think Holly would say that not only is that still true now, but that really applies to basically every culture up until maybe 5 minutes ago. So that women have always been given lower status than men in certain important roles like political leadership. Women have always been, or very, very often been, legally treated as the property of their husbands or of their fathers, denied the ability to vote in democracies, denied the ability to own property for themselves, etc., etc. I wonder if the point of conflict between the two of you is less to do with semantics and more to do with the question of when that period of history ended, if at all. So I think, Holly, you would say that...
Oh, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. That's a really, really good point. She's brought... They're like, okay, cool, they've gone through this whole thing. She actually... I don't know if I'm going to actually put a new point. She stopped them. They've got this whole idea. Let's go into how she words it, because I really think she does a great job of transitioning them to... She keeps trying to... I'm showing you the diagram, you guys can't see it. She keeps going to this idea of establishing the point of disagreement. That's usually when I'm talking, I go, oh, where is the line? So where do they disagree? Where is the line? At what point do they split off? Or what's the line between them? So she is keeping that in mind. They obviously, we spoke about this point of disagreement where it's like, is it unfair? Isn't it unfair? So they've tried to navigate that question. But now she's actually like, okay, I'm gonna establish it for you guys. It seems like you agree. So she's gone. It seems like you agree that there has been a point, and there have been societies in which human women, in which females were discriminated against, and it would behoove us to be feminists within those times. But it's that is over now. The distinction is that Holly, as a feminist, would say it's not over now. It has not been over, and it's you know what, there is not more to do. I am with Bryan on this, where it exists, and it existed. Okay, it exists in other cultures, and it existed in the past. But that does not mean that it needs to continue the way it does today. So I'm with him on that. I'm not on this women are now the oppressed class forever and evermore. I honestly feel like the feminist agenda it's gone from, okay, equal rights under the law, or whatever you want to call it. It's gone from that to, no, we must destroy gender roles completely. That's what it needs, and that's what I'm against. Destroying gender roles completely. Then there's the other kind, the other argument that we've obviously had demonstrated in the chat, where it's like, no, gender roles must remain, and also gender roles must be enforced further to the point where we actually return to those times where we value women less in certain contexts. And I'm not with that. So the spectrum is all over the place. It's the 2000s when wokeness and tribalism went mad, politics and gender politics went wild. 2016, like 2010s, around the 2010s, like, so yeah, it's only a short amount of time, I suppose. The 90s were the most non-racial time in society. It was utopian. Well, definitely feels that way, but that's because, I mean, I agree, feminists have just become anti-men. It's become a form of micro-communism for women. Why can't this just be sorted out? Stephen, because we're humans and humans are too complex. If we could all become a hive mind, that we all had the exact same thoughts at the exact same time, we'd all be good. Did the world actually end in 2012? I hope not. Well, then again, at least I'd met my husband by then. So, phew, I was already with him. So, let's go. So let's go a little bit back. Chivalry, gynocentrism, and this. Oh, we've got the gynocentrism back in chat. Gynocentrism has entered the chat. I lived through it and commented on it at the time. People were being segregated on sexual preference and even simple stuff like music. Oh, remember that? Where it was like you were only one genre of music, and that's the only thing. Unnatural. Okay, here feminist. Blah blah. I'm just trying to find where she starts her speech so I can just go back to the brilliance of it. Okay. Justice and fairness. I did fairness rather than justice. Cool. So I just wanted to stick with something. I think it's here. Play.
People felt like they had a better handle on, but yeah, I don't think there's. I wouldn't put any big.
Mentioned already the kind of cross-cultural comparison here,
Okay.
because Bryan's already said that there were times when it would be justified to say that women are treated less fairly than men.
Okay, so establishing the point of disagreement. She's doing it again, re-establishing a point of disagreement. A new point. Let's call it a new point of disagreement. Okay. She establishes more of that, I would say. And here we've got... Okay, so she says she's got Bryan. Bryan's already said that there were times. So Bryan agrees there were times where women were treated less fairly. And it would be justified to be a feminist, and therefore it would be justified to be a feminist. Yep. That's step one, right? Okay. Then we've got, I suppose we could go here. Or would we break it down? Okay. Comparison. I think Holly would say, okay, so Holly would say, actually, let me put it like this. Difference between, I love this as a moderator. This is what you should be doing, is trying to point out how everybody disagrees, and then see where you can go from there. So difference between Holly and Bryan. Okay, Bryan's views. Okay, that's what she's doing with point of disagreement. There and there, this is where they diverge. Holly, justified to be feminist. I think Holly would say that not. Is it that's still true now? Okay, so there were times. I'm putting more words to this. There were times where women were treated less fairly. Those times, it is still true now. Women are still being treated unfairly. Okay, therefore it will be justified to be go here. Play.
Mentioned already the kind of cross-cultural comparison here.
What did you think of Wix moderating during Destiny Prisco? Look, I'm wondering if we do that next week, Creamage, because I do want to look at. I love Wix conversation, the way that he just did small moderate-y bits of conversation when I was on his call-in show. So I would like to see Wix moderation. Maybe with Wick in the mix, I can understand, or I can deal with Destiny and Pisco, because god damn it, like, I cannot stand both of those people. And it's very difficult to diagram Destiny. I don't enjoy doing that. But maybe the virtues of Wick should be the reason. I think maybe let's do it next week. I know that there was some fallout essentially afterwards. They spoke to each other afterwards. I don't give a shit really about them. I do care about Wick though and what he's doing. So I guess we can put that on the schedule for next week. It'll be nice to actually know what I'm diagramming before Sunday night. So that's cool. I'll look into it. If you guys are obviously interested in, but I like I said, it was suggested as well in the Discord. I cannot stand either of those people, but on the other hand, I can stand Wick. So maybe we do it. It's the same thing as like we did with some previous debates. I couldn't handle the people separately, but with a great moderator, I enjoy them and I enjoy the way they understand things. It will be very interesting to see what he does. You should get Wick on this channel to talk about moderating explicitly. Yeah, that is you know what, that great idea, Creamage. Because maybe after I do the diagram, okay, so after I go through the way that he works, I would like to hear him speak about it. I'll have to schedule him in. Yeah, then speak to Wick. Yeah, fuck this pen, man. But I guess I can also star your message, because it stars it in my studio. Nihilism is the way. No, it's not, Master Costelius. Get out of here. I'm not doxing myself. Dox yourself. Otherwise you won't be allowed in the UK. On the UK internet. Do you watch The Raging Tomato? No, what's that? Is that a commentator? What's that about? I mean, I've got the little... I need to put a little sticker on here for the book. Ooh, kitty stickers. Let's create kitty stickers. No, don't waste money on that. I was gonna get a little printer. Here's a better pen. Are you a Fed? Talking about reclaiming Europe. Guys, a reminder that people in my chat are responsible for what they say. I am not responsible for it. I do not think their thoughts. I'm not in the UK, so no doxing. Yet, until the law coming for you, peepers. Show face to see Bobs. Okay. Debate channel. Ooh, nice. Raging Tomato. What kind of topics do they do? But Raging Tomato is in the book. But we have next week. That'll take us the whole week if we do the Wick debate. Raging Tomato is a debate. Oh, 5 memberships. Who did that? Barmy. Barmy just wanted another bit of a chill session with music. So let's play Barmy's song, guys.
Yo, Barmy.
Hey, Barmy.
Let's fucking go.
Woo!
Whoa.
Who's Bob's?
Ooh, yeah.
Sunny's, right?
Fucking Bob, bro. Let's go.
We have to get Sunny on a thing as well. Good lord. When I'm... Let me not interrupt his song.
Yeah.
Bop hard, everybody.
In a moon bop, they're gone. Yeah.
bop doo ba da, bop doo ba da. Thank you very much, Barmy. Really appreciate it. What I was trying to say in between is I thought you meant big Hitler debate. Okay, so what I was gonna say is that when I'm offline, I'm like, oh geez, I don't know what to do with this channel. I don't know what we're diagramming. I don't know what we're doing. Who should we have on? What think should we have? And then when I'm online, there's all these ideas right in front of me. It's Shinsia, you're a problem. You're a problem. Maybe they're right. Maybe just because you're a woman, you should just not. You know, just don't. Just don't anything.
Because Brian's already said that there were times when it would be justified to say.
Yes, okay, it would be justified. It is still true now. What she's going to say is we're treated less fairly. It's still true now. And what? Women are treated less fairly than men, therefore it would be justified to be a feminist. This is the next one. Sorry, the next bit.
Not only is that still true now, but that really applies to basically every culture up until maybe 5 minutes ago.
Okay, yeah, that's now, and it applies. Oh, you know what? I'm gonna put this here. Holly, she's got this. Okay, but she's got this based on. It's the same thing. The same thing. Holly agrees, but she's got different. She's got more. She's got extra points here. So Holly believes the same thing that Bryan does, extra. Okay? Actually, that it's still true now. The unfairness. Okay, injustice, whatever you want to call it. It's still true now. And it's true of all cultures. Okay, all cultures. Up until 5 minutes ago, essentially. Okay.
So that women have always been given lower status than men in certain important roles, like political leadership.
Okay, so she does give examples. Okay, women have lower status than men. Okay. Political roles. And I know, don't worry, I know you guys in chat, you think this is correct, and it's okay, fine, whatever. Political roles. Lower status than men in certain important roles. Political leadership. Have always been, or very, very often been, legally treated as the property of their husbands. As property of their husbands or father. Okay, and fathers. Denied the ability to vote in democracies. Don't worry, there's no democracies, it's fine. Denied the ability to own property for themselves. Except I wonder if the point of conflict is between the two of you is less to do. Okay, so this is her commentary on it. Isn't about, okay.
Political leadership, women have always been, or very, very often been, legally treated as the property of their husbands or of their fathers, denied the ability to vote in democracies, denied the ability to own property for themselves, etc., etc. I wonder if the point of conflict between the two of you is less to do with semantics and more to do with the question of when that period of history ended, if at all. So
isn't about semantics. Well, the thing is, it has been about semantics, and we should move it out of semantics now. Isn't about semantics, but about when that period of history ended if at all. Because for her, it didn't end. For Holly, it has not ended. For Bryan, it has. Okay, Holly is like, we're still being oppressed. She's not going to say, I don't think she would be stupid enough to say we're just as oppressed as what we were before. It's actually, it's more to do with, she's just saying we still need to fight. We still need to be feminists. Feminism is still necessary. Therefore, we need to encourage our children, our daughters, especially, to be feminists. Right. This is a great way that she's laid out their differences, and I just hope they make the best of it.
I think, Holly, you would say that continues to be the case, that women are, if not formally, legally, but in other ways, socially, culturally, put in a second position to men. And Bryan, I think
Okay, yeah, so she has actually said women. So if not, she's okay with this. Holly would think they are, if not, women, if not legally, but in other ways, but socially, put in circumcision to men. In submission to men? What is the actual word, not circumcision?
between the two of you is less to do with semantics and more to do with the question of when that period of history ended, if at all. So I think, Holly, you would say that continues to be the case, that women are, if not formally, legally, but in other ways, socially, culturally, put in a second position to men.
Second position. To men. Okay. Holly would think that women, if not legally, but socially, culturally, put in second position to men. Okay.
And Bryan, I think you would say the opposite, that we are now in a period of relative egalitarianism, and when we do the tally game, everyone comes out pretty much net equal.
Net equal? I don't think so. I think actually it does come out with men have a lot of burden. While things changed for women, nothing changed for men. This is true. What has changed for men? Oh, it's supposed to be easier for them because the women work, right? But no, there is still the same expectation. There hasn't been this cultural change for men. It's only been for women. Okay, so Holly would think, okay, and then we've also got Bryan would say, the opposite. We are now in a period. When we do the same tally, everyone comes out equal-ish. I don't know about him saying it's net equal. I think he would say men are struggling more. So maybe he wants to abolish the gender roles for men. Okay. Then he would want his daughter to be a feminist, though.
How do you think I've fairly characterised both of your positions there?
Can I just add to it, and then can we put this to Bryan? Because I had the same question for him, given that he says, like, yeah, be a feminist if you're in Saudi Arabia, but definitely don't be one here in America. For me, there's like that, okay, so your transition period between when it's like illegal for you to drive and maybe 3 years later, where all those men who thought it was right that women weren't allowed to drive, and all the like lasting kind of cultural and social beliefs about women, and however long they take to run out, like there's going to be a period where there's like a lot of inertia. I'm sure you get the point. So what is your view about how long it takes or can take for something that you definitely would have agreed is unfair and requires feminists? Is it just that maybe you want to permit a shorter transition period, or you think it's over as soon as the formal constraints are removed? Like, what's going on there?
Okay, I don't like that she went straight into a question. I think maybe she wanted to get it out quickly before she stopped saying it. I think you need to spend some time. The question of the moderator was, have I characterized you guys completely well? And instead she actually this is what I like about the visual thing, is she goes on her own, she's on her own path here. So by the way, this is all this, have I characterized you? Anyway, it is related somewhat. It's in the same branch, I suppose, because we're in the same section of the conversation, but at least pay some lip service to the moderator having summarized your thing. But what you've done, you've gone further, and I think it's fine. What she is basically saying is, okay, well, yeah, he is, he's like, yeah, cool. The time is over. She's saying, well, this transition period is actually longer, and she uses that idea of like 3 years later. Do you think there's not going to be some cultural pushback once the formality is gone? So right, basically, question for Bryan: when is the transition period over? When formally legal measures are changed. Essentially is asking, what about, let me put them in different blocks, because he has then several options of how to respond. Okay, let's go here, 2 different blocks. Okay, question for Bryan: when is the transition period over? When formal legal measures are changed, or is it 3 years after? Okay, what about the cultural residual, I suppose, the residual inertia. Residual. It's an example. I'll actually put it in here. For example, the men who thought it was right for women not to drive will still have trouble thinking with the concept. Daisy is here, guys. Daisy, come here. Pretty girl, dude. Wow. Daisy? Who's he, dude? You want to go in a drawer? You want to go in a drawer? Or no, you just want to make dirty on my computer dirty. Thank you. Daisy do. Oh, wow, what a jump. Guys, go and see the jump that Daisy do can make. There's no Bobs here, guys. There's only Do. There's only Daisy. Well, there was Daisy. Now it's not. Now she's off. She just came to tease us, and now she's like, hey, thanks, bye. Have a nice life. Okay.
Say it's 80% over when the formal constraints are removed.
Okay, wow.
Okay, so he's answering your question, love. Don't say wow. Please tell me she didn't say wow. Okay, wow. Unsure why we don't have a kitty cam yet. The reason we don't have a kitty cam is because the kitty does not stay in the space. Okay, so she doesn't stay here. If there was if she stayed in her drawer, then I would put the kitty cam on, but she does not. No boobs is sad. I'm sorry. I hope you are subscribed to Cinevere. There's boobies there. Look out for her. Okay, so he answers. He says 80% when the about 80% when the formal constraints are removed. Cool. So yeah, maybe he doesn't want that social engineering. That if you change the law, then naturally things will change. You can't fight culture. Give Daisy a GoPro. Now that's content. Yeah, no, Daisy doesn't go outside, so she doesn't get that. She wouldn't be a cat with a GoPro stuff. GoPro for Daisy. She would be doxing me, basically. She would go to the window and you guys would see exactly where I live, essentially, because that's where she goes and looks and whatever. Daisy the dox cam.
Okay.
Something like that. I would say that I hear a lot of point scoring from both of you.
I hear a lot of point scoring from both of you. Okay, this is extra. Okay. Where are you going with this point scoring?
I mean, look, I wrote an essay where I'm going to say that essay was point scoring, but it seems like I keep getting lists of all the terrible ways that women have been mistreated, and without corresponding lists of terrible ways that men may have been mistreated. So, again, like, if it's really true that the point tallying comes in that way, then fine. But it's one where I just
cat tree camera, please. Yeah, I guess that could work. Like I could set it up so that it points at the cat tree. Basically this webcam would be on top of here, on top of the tower, and pointing at the cat tree. And I could move it up and down according to whether they're there or not. But most of the time it's empty. So fine, we'll have to put it in the book, because then I need to set a little area up on OBS for the webcam, because right now the webcam is just covered. My internet's doing some weird stuff. Sorry if there's lag. Scratch post cam. It's happening. Well, look, if she goes there, that's it. If she goes there, you'll get it. And it could be Axel, it could be Daisy. You don't know. And I suppose if we put the camera on the tower, okay, I would be able to show you guys. I would be able to turn it if they go on top of the shelves. And no doxing occurs. So that's cool. It's time for coffee. Don't do that, man. Don't make me think about coffee. Gosh, I'm already going so slowly. Come on, earn that. And what happened to the background music? Oh, Barmy. We played Barmy's song and that turned it off. Okay. Point scoring. Okay, so he's gone off and created a new thing. Well, where are we going with it? There's no corresponding thing. GoPro for Gordon too. You just want to see his PP.
Say basic avoidance of confirmation bias would mean each time you're saying some way in which women were mistreated, you'd be thinking, were there any corresponding or other important ways where men were mistreated?
Do you mean?
Okay, hold up. So let's see what he's. It's just that maybe you want to permit shorter transition period. I'm hearing a lot of. Let's just go back.
Like bias.
You'd be thinking bias would mean it's really true that the have been mistreated,
go Gordon.
And without corresponding.
It would be nice to have a GoPro, guys. We can make a GoPro. If I could get a GoPro before I go. Because I'm going on a trip in a few weeks. If I could get a GoPro by not next week, okay, yeah, we can set up a goal. Fuck. GoPro goal. What's the name? GoPro goal. Kitty travel vlogs hype. Yeah, guys, I'm going to Poland. So there's that. If I get my what do you call it? Visa. But that's the exciting thing that's gonna happen. And it would be cool to have a GoPro, because it really is difficult to, like, when I was in Japan, I was trying to take videos and things, and it is kind of shitty walking around like this with your phone. Like, I want to experience what I'm going through. Like, it's going to be a short trip, and most of it's going to be spent with people, so you're not going to get videos of me being with people. But the days that I'm alone, I'll be able to make videos for you guys. Poland is my semi-home country. It's beautiful. Well, I'm gonna see. I'll let you know if I agree. I'm sure it is. I'm gonna be on a train. I'm gonna do a whole bunch of things. So, yeah, we'll set it up. I'll set up the StreamYard. You can set up goals on. I can do it just now, but yeah. Anyway, the ADHD. It's ADHD. Let's go. I love that I just have a label that I can just put out there and just be like, oh, instead of, yeah, Chinsia, you just get distracted easy. Your brain is not that different from other people's.
Lists of terrible ways that men may have been mistreated. And so, I mean, look, I wrote an essay where I'm going to say that essay was point scoring, but it seems like I keep getting lists of all the terrible ways that women have been mistreated. And with
point scoring. He wants corresponding. His essay is point scoring. His essay is point scoring. His keeps getting lists of how women were treated unfairly without corresponding. Well, we have to. Then, are we going to get back into? This whole argument about whether it needs to be relative or not? But it's like, well, men are also. Couldn't we have the also? Isn't the and okay? Because in the beginning, Holly did say the and is okay, but then when you read what she actually writes, and he's read that out to us, it seems like she does have it in for men, and it's not. There's no and. Your background music is really nice. Thank you. It is courtesy of Creamage. This beautiful. I've decided it is the way he looks. So yeah, Creamage, you have a couple days to change your profile picture. Otherwise, I'm gonna use Pink Guy, not Pink Eye. Pink Guy on a cream thing as our emote. So. A lot of stuff is courtesy of Creamage on this show, guys. Creamage, yeah. Creamage got us this one as well.
Shut up, bitch! Keep the comms clear.
Okay, keeps getting lists of how women were mistreated without corresponding of how men. Can we avoid this point scoring? Can we do that? I think can't we be a human rights activist then? I think it's better for us to be human rights activists. But that's the whole argument, is that he's saying, is like, you shouldn't be a feminist.
Without corresponding lists of terrible ways that men may have been mistreated. So, again, like, if it's really true that the point tallying comes in that way, then fine. But it's one where I just say basic avoidance of confirmation bias would mean each time you're saying some way in which women were mistreated, you'd be thinking, were there any corresponding or other important ways where men were mistreated?
Do you mean like...
Okay, so hold on. What he wants is avoid confirmation bias by asking whether to avoid confirmation bias when looking at an example of mistreatment or unfair. Ask whether there is a corresponding example of men being similarly mistreated. So with that point, that comes back to this, the idea of, well, men couldn't vote anyway. My point is that yes, they then eventually did get to vote, but they didn't all collectively get to vote at the exact same time. There was still a difference. There was still this distinction where it was like, well, the women don't get to vote. Because why? Because they were culturally and just status-wise, socially, women had a different status, a different lower status. They did not need to be part of the voting. Why give them why give them the vote? It doesn't make sense. Hey, Scooby reposted this stream. Yay! Thanks, Scoob. I really appreciate it. Mistreated. And yes, carry on arguing in the chat. I know there are some of you that believe women shouldn't get the vote. Continue. I hope good luck with that. Just, maybe one day you'll get what you want. And rejoice. Okay. Cool. Look at being similarly mistreated
by society. I think I'm struggling with this, but
and left a like too. Well, look at you guys. Be like Scooby. Leave a like. Don't leave, but leave a like.
I can see if there's a common treater, like if it's the state, for example, then it's really weird to be like, there was a state that was like a representative of all of us population-wise, and yet it really picked on the blue-eyed people or whatever. Then I can see that it's weird to just focus on how it picked on the blue-eyed people and just totally ignore how it also picked on the green-eyed people. But I'm struggling a bit with your idea, like, well, if we want to talk about how men could rape women with impunity in marriage, we better think about, and then any respect in which men are made worse off by anyone. That I'm really struggling with why you think that, methodologically, that's an appropriate way to tally up who's well off and badly off. That
seems like we're qualitatively different, so comparing who's well off and who isn't well off, it's difficult to do that. We can't do that because we're different. Then you go then onto the idea that, well, because we're different, we need different rights, and women don't need the rights to vote. They don't need the right to drive. They don't need the right to own property. They don't need the right to self-determination. They must always belong to a man, and that is the one that decides for her, right? That's the slope that we would go down. Focus on how it picked blue-eyed people. So she says she can understand if there was a population-wise, there was a state that was like a representative of all of us population-wise, and yet it really picked on the blue-eyed people or whatever, then I can see that it's weird to just focus on how it picked on the blue-eyed people and just totally ignore how it also picked on the green-eyed people. But I'm struggling a bit with your idea. So first of all, she's saying, okay, well, it would be weird when, example, it would be weird or bad to focus on mistreatment, of one group rather and ignore another. When there is a single treater, okay, then I can see that it's weird to just focus on how it picked on blue-eyed people and just totally ignore how it picked on green-eyed people. And yet it really picked on, okay, single treater that mistreats a group, several groups. Okay, it would be weird to focus on mistreatment of one group and ignore the other when there is a single treater that mistreats several groups. Example, blue-eyed people. Focusing on blue-eyed people mistreatment. Ignoring green-eyed people mistreatment. Okay. I'm just here for the summary. We're not gonna get no summary. I'm a kitty cat. And I dance. Thank you, Aquari, for the subscription. Welcome to the cat colony. Okay, I'm trying to figure out what this lady is meaning at this point. This is what we're here for. This is why we are breaking it down. So focusing on, ooh, remember that back in my day, men were from Mars and women were from Venus. Bah humbug. Oh my gosh, I should read that book. I remember that was like that book is like in my parents' home right now. It's like I know exactly where it is even, but I can't get to it. Men are from Mars. Women are from Venus. It's just my backlog of books. Okay. Does this quiet game work on Kitty? Oh, it can't. Peepers! It cannot work during this kind of stream. It can only work during gaming stream. But, I mean, we could... I make the rules, so we could do a quiet game. We could. Let's see how it aged, yeah. But your Peepers wants me to play quiet game. I would probably land up going through a lot more of this diagram if I played quiet game. It's for 15 minutes, hey? Okay. Focusing on blue-eyed people, mistreatment, ignoring green-eyed people, mistreatment. That's, she would find that okay. That weird. Okay, so in this scenario, ignoring men, say men would be the green-eyed people, right? Then she's got, I'm struggling a bit with your idea, well, if we want to talk about how men could rape women with impunity in marriage. Okay, so cool, he's talking about what do we, to understand, to avoid confirmation bias. Well, I think I'm struggling, the way that she takes that point, I'm struggling a bit with your idea. Like, if we want to talk about how men would rape women with impunity in marriage, yes, that's exactly an example we should use then. Okay? And say, well, was there a comparative example of this for men? No, not really with marriage, no. There's no recourse there was no equivalent. Like, men being raped in marriage was not a thing. There was no equivalent. Maybe. I don't have enough, I was just wondering if it worked. But Kitty games. Kitty does game. When she does, it will be Fridays. And it will still be on Twitch, but it won't be on this channel. It'll, in terms of YouTube, it will be on that. So just subscribe and put your notifications on. Subscribe to that. Let me just put that. Don't know what the command is, but yeah. Go and subscribe over here. Why is it not going straight to YouTube? Thank you. That guy. Here we go. We have 52 subscribers, so go on and add to that number. There you go. I've given you the link there. And this is a very old channel, so don't bother with what's on there. But when I do, there is at least a live from 1 month ago. So. Okay, that was religious, and there were penalties for men when they went against their religions as well. Okay, why marry a man like that? Well, because you didn't know. Okay, you didn't know. You thought it was fine, and also because your dad told you to marry that man, and you do what your dad told you. Okay, example focusing on blue-eyed people. So then she goes, I'm struggling to talk. how men. So that's exactly it. What would you tell me? How do I find the equivalent suffering for men there? I suppose a woman can rape a man, but when that happens, was there recourse for a man? I don't know if a man would culturally talk about that. I have 433 subs on YouTube, so class halfway point of monetization. Let's so close. Yes, let us go. Hello, by the way, Scooby Pup. Scooby Pup Games. Scoop channel. Scooby Pup. Scoop Pup 1. Here, let me give you the 434 subscribers. Am I? Okay, there we go. I can't believe it. No. I must be subscribed with some other ones. That's anyway. Now you're closer. But yeah, this is Scoob's. Okay, just subbed. Well, also sub to Scoob if you are not, but I think you are, peepers. Okay. Demi Moore made a movie about it with Michael Douglas. It was controversial at the time because people didn't believe a man can be raped. Yeah. Right. If focusing on blue-eyed people, I'm struggling. Ugh. Okay, so example. I don't think it's struggling. I think you could have said, so let's use this example. Please tell me what the equivalent for a man will be. Okay, struggling with, like you're actually giving an example of what he's asking you to do, but okay. Idea. With this idea. Women, marital rape. So marital rape in marriage, okay? We better think about it. Okay, so let's go. We better think about it. Let's hear what she has to say. I'm struggling a bit with your idea, like, well, if we want to talk about how men could rape women with impunity in marriage, we better think about, and then what it like any... No, finish your sentence. We better think about, yes. We better think about what were men doing at the time. Was there that for men? Was there an equivalent for men? No. Okay, cool. That's an example. There is a list. Okay? And now, I don't think Bryan would really die on the hill of, well, because there was more shit going on for men, like dying in war and all of that, that takes away the issue that was marital rape. I don't think he would do that. He can prove me wrong, but yeah, I don't think that's how he would work. Did I just fuck something up? No, redo it. Focus, sorry. Struggling with idea. Okay, brings up there. So yeah, for me, yes, please tell me. I think there is a win. And that's a great example for us to look at. Say, okay, are we the kind of people that are going to tally up to the point we're going, well, men were suffering this over here and women were suffering this over here, and that means that whatever women were suffering over here, it doesn't matter because men were suffering. It's like, I don't think people will do that. I think the morally will go, both of those things are bad and both of them need to be addressed, and that's okay.
Any respect in which men are made worse off by anyone.
Sorry? We better think about that. Then what, like any respect in which men are made worse off by anyone? I don't understand what she means by this. Do you guys understand what she means by this? We better think about, okay, so she gets to we better think about, so we better think about men. And then like what, any respect in which men are made worse off by anyone. You're not articulating.
I'm really struggling with why you think that, like methodologically, that's an appropriate way to tally up who's well off and badly off. That
I think you should say it shows how inappropriate it would be to tally off, because we are actually then tallying human suffering. We're taking one person's suffering and another person's suffering and saying, which one do we pay attention to? And that's the moral problem that I have with that. But you're doing the lefty thing, the arguing thing, where we just go, oh, how dare you?
I mean, like what I'd start off with there is what the law is often has very little to do with human behavior. So you really need to find out what's actually going on the ground.
Okay, so we're not going to go into the morality of this. We're just not. So I'm just going to have to put a point for myself to remember. Morality of comparing. Okay, so she's kind of brought that in, but she just exasperated stuff, basically. Sorry, doesn't see valid methodology. I would say tallying up at all is not really morally is quite strange or quite distasteful, but you would have to then find some other. I would like to have arguments for tallying up why I should be so heartless as to care about one kind of suffering over another. Especially with something as visceral as that. But then he goes, okay, well, the laws, okay, so now we're going into behavior, and this is now going to give her power, because she, over here, in her definition of feminism, she is very focused on the cultural place of women, and that she needs to, we need to be feminists because women culturally and behaviorally and all of that are put behind men, right? Isn't that the problem? So he's playing into her hands, in my opinion. But let's see. His response to this, apparently, is here. So I'm going to put it, it is his response. He doesn't just go, oh, I'm over here. He talks about the law has little to do with human behavior. Okay, so... Okay, badly off that. Who's well off badly off that? I'd start off with there is... So, what the law is. It has very little to do with human behavior, so you really need to find out what's actually going on the ground. You could have a society where it's legal for their fathers to kill their own children. Okay. Okay, what are we doing here?
You could have a society where it's legal for fathers to kill their own children. So I heard some accounts where that was true in ancient Rome, and then my question is, okay, how often did that happen? And furthermore, how often was...
Oh, so now we gotta So how often did it happen? Are we gonna now we've got to also talk about how often things happen. Okay, yeah? So we are definitely comparing suffering statistically in terms of, you know what, it doesn't matter. This marital rape thing is not as egregious because it didn't happen as often. And now she's going to get very high horse about this, okay? Because she's going to say, you're saying you don't care? Well, that's what I'm expecting. Is you're saying you don't care about women, you know, being raped with impunity, or you're assuming, he's going to say you're assuming every woman that was married was raped at some point. Okay, so you have a society where it's legal for fathers to kill their own children. Rome. Then you need to ask, how often does that happen? Okay, so just because it's legal, we need to talk about how often something
even
happens.
A credible threat. How often was even something that people were thinking of doing? That's one where...
Why was it a law then? Why was it a law? How often? Oh, okay. Think, how often was something that people think of doing? That's where, of course, when you get further in history.
Of course, when you get back further in history, you really have to say, it's kind of unclear what was really going on the ground, actually. We've got a few first-hand accounts as to whether or not they're reliable or not. I don't know. Okay. And that's where I think in terms of marital rape is what was the actual frequency of it, And
Oh, I
whether or not
I knew she was going to be upset.
this is a score-settling question depends upon whether it was happening frequently or at least was a threat that was commonly present.
So for sorry, I stand corrected. I didn't think he was going to go down that, but he's like, no, if we're going to score points, okay. So similarly, it follows then, a case of marital rape. How often did it occur for it to be a point settling or score settling issue? You would have to say how prevalent it is. So the fact that it happened at all, not a problem. Actually, well, it's a problem, but it's not a big enough problem. We have to now think. About how prevalent it was. We have to get to the statistics of the matter if we're going to get to this points. If we're going to use this point scoring thing. I was of the thing that he would not do that. That he would not like to go into that. That's an icky thing to do. But I think if he wants to rely on the gore of war, I suppose.
Or again, another possibility is that it was barely actually happening. And I mean, I'd say the honest answer is we probably just don't know what was really going on. In the case of something like the law.
Oh, we got the clip? You've got it hidden. Oh, I'm so sorry. Look, the thing is, what's the name? It's not really. It's just this. It's just the. This is the video. It's a podcast. So this
says
is all
fathers
you would
can
see.
kill their own children. It's like we have some idea, yeah, but hardly anyone would do that. So maybe the law doesn't even really matter, or not much.
Okay, so are you making a distinction between, like, one thing is what the law permits, but if people aren't making use of the law, then you're not that bothered by the fact that there is.
Or the law is rarely enforced or weakly enforced. Like these are all things for this point scoring.
Okay, and if there's a law that's...
It seems like you're bringing up marital rape because you think of it as such a devastating point against the fairness of earlier societies that we really don't need to look at other stuff. And I'd say...
No, that we really don't need to look at other stuff. No. It's that it's bad enough for us to look at it, though. It's bad enough for us to look at it. It is not, we must now dismiss it. We don't want to do this dismissive thing. Well, we shouldn't. At least a person like me would not want to. Maybe a feminist like her would do that. I wonder what the context of that Rome thing was. It could be because they're severely sick or dying. I don't know. Just considering stuff in the Bible, I know it's not Rome, but there were kind of laws where it's like if you've been dishonored or whatever, you can stone your child to death. That kind of thing. It's up to the father to do this. It's just a normal punishment. Death for some sort of dishonor. Is Holly single? Of course she is. No, I'm kidding. Maybe she's married to a woman or something. What up, people? Hey, AJ. How you doing? So we are a score settling issue. So she's saying you're bringing it up because it's devastating. We don't need to look at other stuff. Okay. Wow. All things for this point scoring. Okay. And if there's a law that it's so, let's put this here. How did it occur? Point settling issue. How laws with regard to laws, how often enforced, how often practiced. Okay, he's interested in all of those things when it comes to point scoring. All right, and then she's like, well, okay, so you are saying that making use of the law, you're not bothered by it. Yes, he's saying that. Like these are all things. If there is a law that it seems like you're bringing up marital rape because you think of it as such a devastating point against the fairness, okay, so of earlier societies. Bringing up is be a devastating that makes us dismiss other issues, dismiss everything else. Okay, we don't need to look at other stuff, okay? In this scenario, a woman asking for reparations or past trauma, like some Black Americans, why does earlier trauma affecting them now? No, I think in this scenario, they're saying that because of all of that, being a residual, being the way it used to be, culturally, it's taking so long for women to really be treated equally. That they're saying that because of that past, it's still happening on maybe a softer level, maybe on a cultural level. It's not a legal level, but it's still there. The oppression's still there because you still see me. You still see me as a woman, and that makes me less than a man. That's the fact that I'm still seen differently to a man. That's a problem. This is for a feminist.
No, I think you're really sticking to your framework, and I'm trying to say I don't see feminists as using that framework at all. So outside the point scoring framework, if you just think like there has been this historical situation for some minority groups in which they were enslaved, like whichever groups you want to talk about there, or in which they have been made the like domestic helpmates and sex slaves of men. Again, we can quibble about the extent to. I'm just saying, so long as there are these situations and then they have lasting historical effects that might take some time to get rid of, you could say that your justice project is caring about that. That's a very different project to your like who's made worse off under the law or by whom, right? It's just a different way of thinking about.
I have a third.
Yeah, she does say it's a different way of thinking. I understand what she's saying here, but then that means she should not be speaking against men so severely. She should be focused on her project, her justice project. She's saying to him he's sticking to this point scoring. She's not it. Okay, she's not sticking to the point scoring. She doesn't use point scoring. She is just interested in the fact that this injustice or this bad thing happened. That's what she's stuck with. Okay, she's not doing the what about. She's just talking about this was bad and this was bad enough. And because that existed, I'm still going to fight as well. Like, the fact that it doesn't exist anymore has no effect on her, and that I have a problem with. But okay, so I don't use the points scoring framework. So yes, within his framework, that is not a good example. But for me, that example shows the moral of the point scoring model. That we should not, at least, we ought not to be really focusing on one group's suffering over another, or saying ignore this one completely. It's not worth it. Maybe just say, this is my favorite one and I want to do it. This one's close to my heart because I'm a woman and that's why I want to be a feminist. I don't use the point scoring framework. Feminists don't. I just think about it differently. The injustices. So essentially the injustices are the focus of my justice project. That's it. That's the focus and that's it. That's all she's on about. But yes, she does make reference as well. Injustices have lasting effects now. Until today.
Third way that you could view this. So at the moment we've got, and I do concede your point, Bryan, though actually we are both criticising point scoring and doing a fair bit of it
No,
ourselves.
I reject that.
She rejects it, so she agrees. She's like, we're both criticizing and using point scoring. No, I agree with her. I can see why she's rejecting that, because it's saying I am not using point scoring. He is characterizing my identification of an injustice as point scoring. He is bringing this point scoring framework into the conversation, not me. So she, it is important to say you disagree with the moderator here. So Louise says, okay, agree. We are both criticizing points scoring and using it. Okay, and there's supposedly a third way, but she rejects that. I'm understanding why she would reject that, but let's see how she explains herself. What do you mean women's football isn't as good as the male football?
Reject that.
Okay, maybe I'm doing that.
I don't think I'm doing that. Okay.
Okay.
Maybe I'm doing that. So she says no, maybe I'm doing that.
The two positions that we
She really is using point scoring though, even if she doesn't like the term point scoring. All her examples of ways women are oppressed and men are not. See, that's the thing though. Her examples that I would say it's okay for her to point out examples where women are oppressed and men are not, because those are valid examples for her justice project. That's the example she's trying to say. I think she is putting a very, very shiny veneer on feminism, but she's being very charitable to feminism saying that. But she is trying to twist the way she sees things to show that no, it's not really about point scoring. We don't need the point scoring thing, because if she does use the point scoring thing, we're going to realize that yes, men have it worse off than women, and that's not a good thing. But she is allowed, I would say, to, as much as he is allowed to use a statistical framework and say, well, how many women were raped though? It doesn't matter. For her, the principle that there were marital rapes at all means that there should be feminism. That's it. That's full stop. We don't need to talk about men. It's the same thing of, men couldn't vote. Well, yeah, but men had the vote and then women didn't have it. I'm going to focus on that. She's focused on those things. She's made that the focus of her justice project, as she's described. So yes, I suppose we it's not point scoring. It's example scoring. But when it comes to his framework, it will be point scoring. It is statistical. It is a utilitarian thing of who got the worst treatment. Try not to say. She's being a woman. I'm sorry. I think she's wanting laws that make her more powerful and able to prosecute people for minor infractions against her way in the world. Okay, so agree on you. She rejects that. Yeah, I understand why she rejects it.
We've all mapped out, I think. One is the women have been victims of injustice in a third way that you could view this. So at the moment we've got,
So she's going to give us a third way, by the way.
And I do concede your point, Bryan, though actually we are both criticising point scoring and doing a fair bit of it ourselves.
I reject that.
Okay, maybe I'm doing that.
I don't think I'm doing that.
Okay. The two positions that we've all mapped out, I think.
I've mapped them out.
One is the women have been victims of injustice in pretty much all times and places and still are, albeit to a lesser extent. That's, I think, the position that Holly is putting forward.
Yeah.
Two positions that we both all mapped out. I think one is women have been victims of injustice in pretty much all times and places and are still, albeit to a lesser extent, but there still are. So she's redoing it. She has to redo the again, the difference between Bryan's views and Bryan's and Holly's views. Let's do it again, okay? Reiteration of the difference. Views, okay, we've got them. Holly, woman, let's go with the two positions we've both got is, I think one is women have been victims of that. Okay, that is Holly. Okay, and then, whoopsie. And then we've got, I think that's the position Holly's putting forward, and she agrees. The position that Bryan is putting forward.
The position that Bryan is putting forward is that actually women, certainly nowadays in the modern West, are not victims of that kind of injustice, and we should be skeptical of feminist claims that that injustice was as aggressive, entrenched, widespread, etc. in other times and places.
Okay, let's see how he agrees with that. Okay, so putting towards that actually women, certainly nowadays in the modern West, are better. Okay, and also be skeptical of those claims previously. Okay. Because that she has made, the reason she puts that be skeptical thing is because he did say he did question how prevalent this marital rape was. So that is her example there. Maybe let's go here. That is why she put that through. Paste style. I'm gonna just outline them in the different colors, just for my own sake. Okay, this was Holly's one, so it's the pink. Is it pink? Here's the pink. Okay, and this is Bryan's one. For border, blue. Bryan. Women, certainly nowadays in the modern West, are not victims of that kind of injustice, and we should be skeptical. Claims that injustice was as aggressive, entrenched, widespread in other times and places. Okay, cool.
There is a third position. I don't know if you're willing to make the case for this, Bryan. So maybe we need some more vehement anti-feminist in the room, which is that yes, women have been, for instance, treated like chattel or denied the vote, etc., etc. There are ways in which women are very, very often put in this secondary position in legal formal terms, and that's good. So that would be the other way of viewing this, to say that actually that is a necessary thing to do in order to have a functional society.
That is that third one. It has been made by you guys in the chat. So there you go, guys. You guys have got representation in the argument here. The third way is women have been subjugated, have been second class. Let's say have been, what did she call it? Put in secondary position. I'm not collecting. I know there are some people in chat that are not thinking that way, that don't want to put women just only strictly back in the kitchen. But the loudest people in chat have been saying that women must go back to the kitchen and must not have the vote and all of that. So that's what I mean by, hey chat, your guys' ideas are being expressed here. So women have been put in secondary position, and let's go secondary position, legally voting. Legally voting form terms, and that's good. Often put in secondary position. Yes, voting, and that's good. That is how we have a functional society. It's better for everyone. Okay, functional society. It's better for everyone if women are denied these rights. I think this would work. This is probably what Spoon thinks, if I'm correct. just don't put women in their place, and actually they will be happier. Everyone will be happier. Everything will work better.
There are ways in which it is better for everyone, maybe even better for women, for women to be denied these rights. And I just want to air that, because that is the other alternative way of viewing this history, which you will rarely hear nowadays.
You will rarely hear unless you have my chat.
But if, say, you read contemporary debates on suffrage in the early 20th century, you will often read people, including anti-suffrage women, saying
There were, yes, she is not denying that there were anti-suffrage women.
it's better if women don't vote because women are not temperamentally suited to voting. If women vote, it will be bad for everyone. I guess, what do you both make of that third possibility?
It's an empirical question, and we should look into it.
Yeah, we should look into this. We should look into this. Empirically. Okay, how would it change? Okay, how would it change? Would things be better? What would the world be like without? So, that's interesting. Data is beautiful. Go and do this. Come on, people. Basically, go and take the voting data and figure out. Ooh, that's a project. And figure out what voting results would have been. Okay. Now, I was thinking in terms of South Africa, because I know the data is available, so I would be able to separate out what would happen. Let's see. What would voting look like? Or voting results, election results look like without women? Would they really be that different? And maybe in America, yes, but I'm wondering in South Africa whether there is really that much trend, because it seems like women are. The main assumption is women are Democrats, or they're more Democrats, and if women do vote Republican, it's because of their husbands or something like that. So it would be an interesting empirical question. I bet men in the past would have loved to know that their efforts to protect their wives and children means they're misogynist and putting them down. Amazing, yes. The state is their husbando. 70% left. Shoo-wee.
Holly, is it an empirical question, or is it a moral question, or is it both?
Oh, I mean, I guess you and I have talked about a version of this before, right? In the difference feminism question, right? So it is an empirical question whether women are different from men in such a way that they would have a different good. Like what is good?
Quite interesting. Difference feminism. So she brings up the difference feminism. The question was, is it a moral question or an empirical, or both? Okay, so that was from Louise. Oopsie. Consistently, Western nations, the left-wing voter demographic is overrepresented by women, because, I suppose the answer is because they are overly emotional. They're easily manipulated with emotional arguments, more easily, I suppose, than men, because humans generally are easily manipulated. Is it a moral question or an empirical? Both. And then her answer is, she brings up difference feminism. The empirical question is whether women are different enough ideas of good and evil, essentially. I think that's a better question if they have different ideas of good and evil. That's a more comfortable question. Of course, the feminist has given me the more comfortable question as a woman, because the man's question would be, is the woman rational enough? Not, does the woman have the same morality? No. They want to know how rational the woman is, because the woman is to them so irrational in general that they shouldn't have a vote.
For them, or what is in their interest, would be something different than just whatever is good for the generic human.
Difference feminism question, a way that would have a different good, like what is good for them or what is in their interest would be something different than just whatever is good for the generic human. Okay, yeah. I think it's better to put it in there. What is good for them would be them, sorry, slash in their interests would be different to whatever is good for the generic human. Okay. Yeah, I wonder if it's just, it's the sexual revolution, going all the way back to the sexual revolution, because the thing that scares women the most is being forced to have babies. That's what makes them lean so far left.
And I reject the difference position, and I think
she rejects the difference position. Wow. Okay. I reject the difference being that large. That's what I reject. That to the point where my judgment is poor compared to yours. I think it's just as flawed as any other humans. Reject the difference model. So position, and think that the evidence does not support the difference position.
That the evidence does not support the difference position, but I don't think it's, we talked quite recently about this, I don't think it's fully closed. Like, it's not a done deal and you're an idiot if you defend the like brain sex theory or whatever, but my sense is that it's like the mounting evidence does not support the difference type view, and so then it wouldn't support the type of view that like it's actually just good for everyone or it's good for women.
So we got a question for Holly.
Okay, why are we going to that? I want comment on the difference position. Okay, difference position evidence. It's not closed, but mounting is pointing towards not being actually good for everyone, is good for women. I don't know, not being valid. Okay.
So based upon reading your book, it seems like you would reject the view that feminism is just belief in gender equality or something like that. Is that right?
Absolutely. And this.
Okay, that's a good question to ask her though. Okay, so we had the reiteration of different views. Good question to get an understanding. What's the X? To get an understanding of what she means by feminism. Feminism is beyond just gender equality. What is it then? Is it female supremacy? In which case, no. But yeah, good on. He says after reading her book, okay? So based upon reading your book, it seems like you would reject. Would you? So his question is, would you reject that feminism is just belief? Oh, there's a screech post, buoy. Exie! You guys don't see enough of Axel. He said it, the quiet parts. It's just belief in... She said it! She said it, yeah. She said the quiet... Sorry, I read he. Sorry, I just only care about men. So, would you reject that feminism is just belief in Did she say gender equality? He say gender equality. Just the belief in gender equality. And she says yes, absolutely. Okay, explain why.
This is again like going back to the second wave tradition. That they're like someone like Andrea Dworkin is very clear that equality is the wrong measure.
Okay. Back to second wave. Second wave. Dawkin, and Rhea. Equality isn't the is the wrong measure. Okay, so what is it then?
And the more that you think like, yeah, because we have a kind of very distorted humanity based on this idea of constantly treating the sexes as these two different types of beings in this sort of complementary relation to one another.
Yes.
That is what they would call sex role stereotyping, or like channeling people into these like different types of things that really go against the human personality, and they see that.
Okay. The reason I'm losing my shit here, okay, is she's saying that we channeled humans into these arbitrary things. It's just arbitrary. The sex roles are just arbitrary, guys. That's it. She's just saying we've that's what I'm hearing here. Okay, I am crashing out. So she is saying, yeah, let's put the words here, is the wrong measure. They would call sex role stereotyping, or like channeling people into like different types of things that really go against the human personality. Which the gender roles evolved from humanity, from the fact that we are sexually dimorphic. This is why I got in trouble in my gender studies class, my gender psychology class, because I was trying to argue that is where it comes from. That is what our traits, okay, I was being an evolutionary. I was trying to think of it evolutionarily, okay, that why would we evolve this way? Oh, okay, because the usual general thing that the woman's the gatherer and the man's the hunter. The woman is the one that is pregnant and therefore does have more limitations. The woman is the one with less muscle tone. The woman, blah blah, all of this shit that is being sexually dimorphic makes us different kinds of beings. But as I explained earlier in the week, that does not make us not both human. Okay, I still want some idea of humanity that encapsulates both male and female and finds them both valuable. They don't have to be the same thing, but they are both valuable, they are both human. They still equal human, therefore we value them. What is so fucking difficult about that? But at the same time, she's now saying that this is what feminism is doing, is trying to say that it was just random. It was just, oh, well, you know, it's not that, okay, we took it too far. I suppose what somebody could say to me now is, well, if we evolved that way, why didn't you just get back in the kitchen? Well, humanity evolved further. We are no longer in the caves. We are no longer there. But if you want us to go back to Monkey, then we're going to have to do a bit of an apocalypse. So what do you want to do? Hey there, cats and kittens, to channel you all into two arbitrary categories that really go against the feline personality. Thanks, Josh. That's a great intro. A hairball or something? No, I'm crashing out. That's what I'm doing. Modernity and industrialization forced people to rethink their identity in general. The stress of this existential threat, the life in cities, and complexity of culture makes us subconsciously resent the stress of dissolution of culture into globalization and dissolution of national identities. Yes. Yes, Andrew. But yeah, so humans evolved beyond that, so there is the trouble with that. So we're gonna have to go back to monkey. Okay, so it's fine. We can go monkey. It's cool. Less a hairball and more a poofy tail. Yeah, I guess I could put it up, but I don't want it. If I put it in a ponytail right now, by the way, guys, it'll have a kink in it, and we don't want that. Deep breaths, kitty. Take a drink. Thank you, Scoob. We're good. I do cartoons, damn it. Andrew, why don't you do a cartoon about that? Please illustrate these ideas. Come on. It's a lot more interesting than a mind map. I mean, a lot more entertaining. Interesting is subjective in terms of how nerdy you are. Don't laugh at me. I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing at that you quoting the Unabomber. Okay, relax. Please write me the script, please. It would be my little theory of evolution, or theory, mine. It's not mine, but like the idea of what happened to women. What happened? Why are we here? Oh, where did the gender roles come from? And Easton, an outline. Well, there was the outline. Okay, the outline was that, sorry, we don't just have these arbitrary categories of male and female. We're sexually dimorphic, and therefore sex created gender. Sex created sex performances. You know, like the one bird does a certain mating dance, and the female will measure up and see whether she likes him or not. All those kinds of behaviors. You're right, I need to take another drink. I actually have a headache now. At least an outline. What's the abstract or the main thesis? Oh, I hate doing that. The main thesis is men and women are different. Make a video, Andrew. Just make a video, Andrew. Just do it. Okay. Equality is the wrong measure. Okay, why is it the wrong measure? Because, well, the sex roles are just weird. Okay? Different types of things that really go against the human personality. Okay, so we're not different, actually. We're just human. There's only human. We're only human after all, and that's it. Really go against the human personality. This is incredible. That's going in verbatim. Okay. Okay. Channeling people into different... Okay, cool. Tell me.
As injustice, and I largely agree with that analysis. So in that sense, equality is just really the wrong word. It almost accepts that distorted humanity based on this idea of constantly treating the sexes as these two different types of beings in this sort of complementary relation to one another. That is what they would...
This idea of these two different beings being in a complementary relationship to each other. That's so wrong. These are the ideas she's rejecting. This is the idea you reject as a feminist, that you are complementary. You guys support each other. Okay? As a red pillar, you're also doing that. Or a black pole, really. You're also going, well, we don't need women. I'm cool by myself. Okay, so personality, going into personality. Wow. This is being sort of complementary, different. I'm gonna have to put the whole thing, actually. Sorry. Let's put this all in. A distorted humanity. Distorted, she said distorted humanity based on this idea of constantly treating the sexes as the two different types of being, complementary thing, relationship compared to each other. That is what they would call sexual stereotyping, like channeling people into these like different types. And the different types are completely against. They're actually really against the human personality. It's not that they just emerged, okay? Now we have to strong arm and we have to twist and socially engineer all of that genetics, all of that. We need to just fuck it up so that we can get back to being just human, because that's what we were, right? I agree with that. I largely agree with that analysis. And yeah, equality is the wrong word. Okay, so what do you want, woman? What do you fucking want?
All sex role stereotyping or like channeling people into these like different types of things that really go against the human personality, and they see that as injustice, and I largely agree with that
Okay, they see it as injustice. So yeah, the equality, us being separate. See, the sexes is injustice. Seeing the sexes is injustice. Okay? Viewing the sexes is injustice. Sorry. That equals. Sex roles. Let's not be over equals injustice. Typical woman cannot communicate what she actually wants. No, she's told us what she doesn't want. Okay, Josh? She's told us what she doesn't want. So you've said, do you want sex categories? And she's got no. Okay, and they're like, okay, what do you want? No, I want human. Okay.
Analysis. So in that sense,
but at the same time, I need to now, reparations wise, because I want human, I must now empower women. And I must keep men down so that we can get back to human. Same thing. So it's like, okay, well, because there was racial discrimination beforehand, we need to now discriminate against the white person, and then we will get at some point in history, then in the future, we will then be equal again, and we'll all be human.
Equality is just really the wrong word. It almost accepts that like men, and again, I'm sure you disagree with this, but the thought is like men have been more free throughout history, so men set the standard. So for the feminist, for the equality feminist, it's all about just bringing women up to the male standard. And yeah, so that, I think that's why I'm never saying the word equality really in the book, right? Or fairness. I'm talking about liberation and non-domination and interests and so on.
Okay. I'm talking about liberation, and so she's it's still not, you still haven't told me. You just want just liberty, just happiness and butterflies. I feel like, what is liberty then? Tell me what liberty is for you, feminist goddess. What is it? Is it being on the island without any men? What is it? Please tell me. Are you an Amazon? Do you want to be an Amazonian? Okay, so she agrees with this. We can put this in one, since yeah, you really didn't need to break it up. Okay. Whew. Yeah, I actually haven't taken a deep breath in a long time. Okay, we're good. I guess I shouldn't get the votes. I can hardly breathe, right? Okay, then equality is the wrong measure. Sex roles is equals injustice, and yeah, if she goes into the other kind of feminism, I'm sure he agrees, but the thought is like men have been more free throughout history. Men have been more free. Okay. Been more free throughout history. So men. Okay. So now we're different now. Instead of point scoring, we're talking about freedom. Okay. Men have been more free throughout history. They set the standard. That should be your definition. So for the feminist, it's about for the equality is feminist. It's all about, for the equality feminists, it's all about bringing women up to the standard of men. Okay, so this is the split for equality feminist. Bringing up to the standard of men. Okay, so bringing up to the freedom that men have. For her, I suppose, just bringing women to the men. And yeah, so that, I think that's why I'm never saying the word equality really in my book. Right or fairness, I'm talking about liberation, about fairness or equality. Talking about, instead, she's talking about, this is word salad for me. I'm sorry, this is quibble. She goes, all fairness, I'm talking about liberation. Liberation and non-domination. this I hate that non-domination. It's the same sort of, it gives me the same vibe, okay? It's giving non-male or non-female. That whole idea that we have to say it's non-male, non-female instead of a female and a male. we have to say it's non-female. Like, you know what? This is what makes this. I can't stand with this. I can't stand with this. This is why I cannot call myself a feminist, right? You can't stand with this bullshit. Like, own it then, actually, at least. Okay. Men free without histories. The men can set the standard. We can talk about the men setting the standard. That's maybe something she could get into with Bryan. Equality feminist wants to bring this to the standard of men, and according to the equality feminist, it seems like we have the same standard. Okay, not talking about fairness or equality, talking about liberation and non-domination. Okay, so that's fine. We're just good. Yeah, so that I think it's why I'm never saying the word equality really in the book. Or fairness. I'm talking about liberation and non-dominant. I mean the first line of your definition. Okay. Men have definitely not been free in history. You could at least have your own home in the past, and now we're looking at having a pod to call our own with a robot maid. Well, the thing is, men were made unfree, I suppose, by other men, and women were also made unfree by men. It's shirky principle all the way down. There's a vested interest in never being satisfied or achieving the end goal, because then the grift is up. Absolutely. That's it. He's trying to say to her, the grift is up, love. He's trying to do that. Or he's saying, take your grift to another country where it actually isn't up, because over here, we good.
The first line of your definition says a feminist is a person who works for women's equality, and then you have some other...
She says, oh, I'm not talking about equality. And then he goes, hey, by the way, whoopsie poopsie, your first line. Modern femininity. Feminism is basically BLM. Yes, it's all critical theory, Groovy. It's all, okay, insert oppressed class here. Cool. Insert oppressor class here. Cool. And then rinse and repeat. You don't need to, it doesn't matter. As long as you've got an oppressed class and an oppressor class, boom, there you go. You can apply all of this activism and all of this wokeness to it and all of this reparation to it. You can always say, oh, well, because I need to repair the past, I must now discriminate against the other. I need to rediscriminate. And my question always is, if you need to rediscriminate, please tell me, honey, sweetie, baby, child, tell me when we will be equal then. At what level will we be square? Because what amount can make up for historical injustice? Please tell me. Because it seems like that's not going to work. Because this principle comes up of it's never, no, we cannot, the grift will never, ever be up. Okay, it's not closed, but mounting evidence is putting towards being valid. No, that was the question of difference. Okay, non-denomination. So, this is a very good response. Whoopsie poopsie. Exactly. By Bryan. He's like the first, and I go back to it. Okay, he did quote it. We got a map here, boys. We got a map. Okay, he did quote it right here in the beginning. He says he's quoting it. Bryan quoting Holly in her book. A feminist is a person who works for women's equality. I'm not using the word equality or fairness in my book, she says. Well, thwarted. Whether of outcome or opportunity. They work for women's individual self-determination, so she's just focusing on this part. Women's individual self-determination, women's liberation, or women's interests, as the person understands them. A person who works against male domination. So, this thing about being against male domination does seem to still talk about fairness, right? And she's trying to cut the men out of this as if she's not against men. I love that he just put this on her. What is she? Okay, predictions. Maybe you could read. I don't think you could see the transcript clearly. What do you think her response is going to be? Is it going to work, or is it going to? Would you minus points or add points for her response? Do you think she can deal with this? Will I be satisfied? Right. So we've got, I mean, the first line, first line of your definition. The first line of your the first line of your definition says a feminist is a person who works for women's equality, and then you have some other options, but you do use the word. Okay, so let's see how. Sorry, let's go back here. Let's jump back. Let's enjoy this moment.
Male standard. And yeah, so that
Hold on, let me just check if there's food in Axel's bowl because he's bullying his sister, and that's not gonna happen. That's not gonna fly. Hey. Now leave your sister alone. I fed him. I put food in his bowl. He's fine. Okay, there's 20 minutes to their feed time, so that's why they're getting antsy. Are they part of the Trojan? Yeah, they're part of the Martin Bailey. I said to my, you keep saying I'm horrible and the worst, then I'm not. And we'll turn that way eventually and you'll be really pissed. Don't! It's never about injustice, it's about revenge based on collectivist thinking, often overt misandry and running wild. No, well, it'll be overt until you call them out on it, and then they run back to their Bailey and they're like, sorry, to their Mott, I think. And they go, no, it's just about equality. It's just about us being fair. It's fairness stuff. And it's about women just having an okay time of life. Okay, so reliving it.
I think that's why I'm never saying the word equality really in the book, right?
Never really in the book saying equality.
Or fairness.
Or fairness. And I say it with a smile. And that helps me.
Talking about liberation and non-domination and interests and so on.
I mean, the first line of your definition says a feminist is a person who works for women's equality, and then you have some other options, but you do use the word.
So good.
The thing that's going on in the book is trying to give like such an inclusive definition of feminism that it fits all the disagreement. And then my own view about like what is gender critical or radical feminism. So you're right, I was being sloppy there about the general broad definition and then my own like sense of what the table thumping right feminism or one true feminism or whatever.
Okay, so not really satisfied with that, but her response was, yeah, that was my more inclusive one. In the book started with the most inclusive definition, then went on to her one. I was being more sloppy there about the general broad definition than my own sense what a feminist, table thumping right feminist or one true feminist or whatever. So she's got the idea of what a one true feminist is. Fits all the disagreement, and then my own view, like what is gender critical or radical feminism. Okay, so gender critical or radical feminism. Okay. So she likes her radical feminism. What's this idiot has a book about feminism and doesn't define it? No, she defines it in the beginning. Okay? And then she says, well, actually, mine, I've taken that further. So it's like, here is what feminism is for most people. But also, it should be no gender, basically. Gender critical feminism, what I hear for gender critical feminism is boom. That's why I'm here. Hopefully Kitty helps me regain hope about what the fuck is going on in Australia. By all rights, they should be as Chad as the US. Yes, I mean, everything is trying to kill you, boys. It's crazy. But they were so hollow-chested like the UK.
Yes, what I say is that...
Not all of them.
That, I think, to get a definition that actually fits everybody, it's just too hard.
Yeah, it is too hard.
There's just too many weird people. So that's why with my definition, I was thinking, I think this is going to fit about 85% of self-identified feminists. And that's about the most you can hope for a vague word that people use and have a lot of strong emotional attachment to.
But remember what I...
Oh, but remember, okay, but anyway, he's just got this it's kind of a non sequitur. It's just like, well, yeah, definitions are hard. So, yeah, you're a continent, Groovy. Yes, you're an entire continent. So I'm sure you've got a whole bunch of shit over there that should make you all very rich. You guys are lucky you're just too far away to just get boats and boats and boats of people. I was thinking that I was going to about 80%. Yeah, these definitions are hard. Did you say, it says, I think to get a definition that actually fits everybody, it's just too difficult. That fits everyone is difficult. My definition fits around 85%. So it makes sense that a radical feminist would not fit his definition, because his definition is normie feminism, what people usually think when they hear feminist. When you hear radical feminist, then you'll understand. That's what modifiers are for in language, right? That's what we're using. We have feminism, the whole idea, but radical. We're going so radical that we don't even want gender, okay? We have difference feminism. With difference, we focus on the difference between men and women, blah, blah, blah. Okay, that's why we need them. So don't use, I guess academics will do that. We do get boats of people. Mamma mia.
I said about the self-identification, like, it's not that I'm doing a descriptive project of everyone who uses the word and what do they
But I am right.
have in common. It is kind of like, what do I think is a reasonable disagreement between traditions, like the liberal feminist versus the radical feminist, or the intersectional feminist.
Oh, shut up about the intellect. Okay, so now they're just, again, we're back to this argument about, this is a great study in Sitch's law, guys. You can, and you know what, it's fine, they know. Sorry about the internet if I'm lagging, but they know they're arguing about definitions. At least. That's a good thing. I'm happy, because a lot of the time people don't even know they're arguing about definitions. And it's okay to argue about them. I don't think it's absolutely useless. Arguing about definitions is arguing about how you see the world. The person sees the world this way, the person sees the world this way. The person sees feminism having this goal, person sees feminism as having this goal. We still get an interesting conversation. Okay, so everyone's difficult. So she's got the my definition isn't a descriptive project. It's finding. It's what do I think is a reasonable disagreement between traditions? Finding a reasonable disagreement between traditions. Radical, liberal, intersectional, sectional, feminist. Okay, cool, fine. My feminism is different to your feminism. Okay, what do you think of his feminism? Oh, well, but wasn't it that no feminists were doing this? That no feminists had this idea? No feminist used his definition. The ones that now it's like, no, my definition is different.
And then whatever I don't want to throw out as like, well, it's not my way I think about it, therefore it's wrong. I don't want to do that.
But you are doing that. Just do it. Just do that. That's the difference between an academic and a podcast bro, okay? Well, the abilities of a podcast bro versus an academic. A podcast bro can say, well, I think that this is it, and that's because I think that that's it. I think this, therefore it is correct. Whereas an academic's got to make it flowery and kind of subtle and sneak it in. And sneak it under a guise of, no, I've done my research.
But my way I think
especially in the humanities, man. The humanities is a lot of just, it's the way you see the world, your opinion, written in many, many words.
That whatever I don't want to throw out as like, well, it's not my way I think about it, therefore it's wrong. I don't want to do that. But the inclusiveness is not just like trying to capture the majority of people who use the word. Absolutely not. It's much more theoretical than that.
Okay, but she's also, so she's denying, not just throwing out what she, I disagree. I think she is throwing out what she doesn't like. Okay. She's not doing that. She's again, chat, she's telling us what not to do, what she doesn't want. Not showing what, not trying to be inclusive, to be most inclusive, to capture majority. The majority thinking. Definition, I suppose. And then we've got the, it's much more theoretical than that, which is fun times with academics. It's theoretical, which means I can talk about it for hours but say nothing. I don't know what you're talking about. My AI assistant just asked me something. We're not all hollow-chested in the ear because we're also dying. Oh, guys, I'm sorry about the UK, sorry.
But it's also not just a stipulative definition, right?
No.
It's not just a stipulative, so he's asking, it's not. No. Okay, so what is it?
So is it what I called a normative definition, where you're trying to say this is how we should be using the word? It's not how.
So it's not, no, and it, okay, is it normative? How we should be using the word? I think that is what she's doing, because this, I'm not throwing things out. Kitty should have a police procedural where she solves crimes by diagramming them. That's interesting. We could get those true crime boxes, not true crime boxes, but they have those mysteries or whatever that you're supposed to solve a crime using the clues. Okay, is it normative? How should how we should be using it? I think that's what it is. Daisy and Axel. Axel, I'm gonna put you in timeout, man. Stop it. Stop it. Axel. Okay, I need to put Axel in timeout because we are not gonna... Well, we need to get to 40 minutes today. What are we on? 37? Nicely done. Okay, just hold on. I need to get Axel in timeout. That's it. No. Come back. Come here. I'm not leaving you here. Come on. Did you hiss at me? Axel! He got me. You stay up there. He ran into the bathroom and then he went under, went under the basin and I tried to get him out from there, and then he hissed at me. So, like herding cats. Axel 1, Kitty 0. Yep. But he's got his fur on end. He's being very grump. Axie! Yeah. Kitty jail. Well, he's not really in kitty jail. Kitty jail is in the bedroom. I don't leave him in the bathroom. Okay. Bebop, but like, I understand. It's 10 minutes to feeding time, but listen. We got stuff to diagram and you're interrupting us. Come on, we've got 3 minutes left. Okay, normative, how we should be using this, that's what I think. Okay. Sorry. So if it's not normative, because remember we got all these different kinds of definitions he spoke about. Stipulative, normative, his is reportive. Do you call it reportive? Is that even a word? Is it normative? And then she says no. How we should be using it. I honestly think that's what she's trying to do. That's what she's trying to make it. Murphy was being crazy on her treadmill last night, so I had to put a heavy block on top on it to stop her. Oh, shame! She couldn't run. Aww. Daisy with her treadmill. She goes 1, 2, 3, 4, and then looks at you and goes, "Where's the treat?" Because that's how we trained her to go on there. So she'll just walk on it and then go, "Well, I did the thing. Where's the treats?" But sometimes she does that while I'm exercising as well. She actually will exercise with me. It's so cute. But she never goes full tilt to such an extent that you would be irritated.
We're using the word?
No.
So
I'll try and get it on camera next time she does it. She does it over the weekend a lot.
Is there a fourth option besides stipulative, reportive, and normative?
Yeah, I guess.
There's a fourth option, yeah. Okay, so it's no, she said no to normative. How we should be using the word. No, so is there a fourth option besides stipulative, reportive, normative? Yeah. Is there a fourth option? Oh, Axel's come down. Fourth option. Stipulative, reportive, normative. Okay. Do you take your cats for walks? Nah. I chase them around the apartment. They run that way. I don't want my kitty cat. My kitty cats are indoor kitty cats. And that is that. I do have harnesses for them, and I did consider doing that. There are some people in my neighborhood that walk their cats. But yeah, not these ones. I think they're a bit too highfalutin. They don't need to go out and see the plebs.
The fourth option is like, of all of the academic debate that goes on, making a normative judgment about what of that debate is.
Yeah, I guess the fourth option is like all of the academic debate. Okay.
Not how we're using the word?
No.
So is there a fourth option besides stipulative, reportive, and normative?
Yeah, I guess the fourth option is like, of all of the academic debate that goes on, making a normative judgment about what of that debate is reasonable, what is a like wide capacity.
She's making. Okay, so like I said, okay, I'm no academic, but I called it. I would say I called it, because when she said it's not normative, and when she said she's not pulling out what she doesn't agree with, and you know, she's not doing this. I'm not throwing out what I don't agree with and whatever. She's now describing making her own normative definition, okay, with the she's making her own normative definition with the normative definition of feminism across its different offshoots, I suppose, across academia. So I hope, please, Bryan, please say this. Please say that that's what you're doing, and then have her explain that that's not what she's doing. The fluff of this lady. She's fluffier than Daisy. Okay. Is there a fourth option? And then she goes, yeah, the fourth would be is taking what's reasonable is of the academic debates. Okay, so you take of the academic debates of, yes, I guess the option is of the academic debates on making a normative judgment about what of the debate is reasonable. What is like a wide capacity definition that fits a lot of these projects within its umbrella? Okay. Is the academic debate making a normative definition? So of that, making a definition, okay, of that, what do we do with it? About what of that debate is reasonable. What is ask yourself, asking what is reasonable, what is a wide capacity definition that fits a lot of these projects. So she's mixing them, because fits a lot of these projects would then mean a descriptive one, yes, a reportive one. Anyway, hey Carl, South African 100%. Yep, that's my accent. That's what's happening, especially when I'm angry. I'm glad you didn't think I was Australian, because a lot of people do that. But that's probably because you're probably a South African. Okay, what is capacity definition fits a lot of these projects within its umbrella? Blah, 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 blah. So why are we only going to focus on academics here? Okay. A lot of these projects under one umbrella. Sounds like a bit of a lot of calmy gobbledygook. Sorry, ruined the joke. Is there a third? So yeah, no, I think yours is a normative definition. Okay, it's just a normative definition. Accept it.
Capacity definition that fits a lot of these projects within its umbrella.
So why are we only going to focus on academics here? It's a word that's widely used. Most people who identify as feminists aren't academics.
But it's not a word project. It's not
a word project. Okay, so why focus on academics? It's a widely used word, and most people who are feminists aren't academics. Yeah. They definitely aren't academics. They're not reading. They're on TikTok, okay? They're scrolling TikTok. You reading? What? Most of the anti-feminists are reading feminist stuff.
doing an ordinary word project. I'm doing a feminism as a political movement and project.
It's not a word project. That's such an academic answer, not a word project. What are you doing? So if it's not a word project, it's I'm doing like a feminism and political movement. Okay. Political movement. When we're talking about political movements, I don't know, it seems to me that political movements occur with people out in society. And those ones are the ones he's talking about, the people that call themselves feminists. When you're talking about a political movement, are you only talking about academics that espouse this political movement? You're just doing more of this Jedi mantra kind of thing. This is not the answer. This is the answer you're looking for, actually. This is the answer you're looking for, is what she's trying to make him think. Not a word project. I'm doing a feminism as a political movement project. And project. And as a political, so is that you saying, if I'm going to be the most charitable about what she's saying here, other than, okay, let's not say it's fluff, what it is okay, I'm doing it as what it should be. What I would, what her work is it's supposed to be then disseminated to the masses. They can then go and be this political movement. This is what they should be. Maybe that's what her project is.
And there are people, of course it's not limited to academia, of course there are like many people in activism that have great ideas and have been very influential, but it's that project that I'm trying to capture. It's not just like anyone in the world who would call themselves a feminist.
It's that project. So it's the aim of feminism. Okay. She likes this. She's just like, it's that project. Yes, not just academics. Activists do a lot. Have been influential. But it's a project. But it's that project. That's what she's on. Yeah, if we're going to be charitable, you know what I said.
Would you say my definition is okay as far as stipulative definitions go, and you just don't like stipulative definitions?
Okay, good question then. He's going, okay, fine. If mine's a stipulative one. Let's ask if we're upset about definitions, what is your opinion about my definition? I feel like we're going to get more fluff anyway. It's not, but hey, I could be pleasantly surprised. Would you say my definition is okay as far as stipulative definitions go? Skip stipulative, and you just don't like the stipulative definitions? Okay. I thought he was trying to say his definition was a descriptive one.
I don't think I have a problem with
Or reportive.
stipulative definition. These things have their place, right? Like there are philosophers in the gender critical debate that want to know what the like ordinary language usage of woman is. That can be really important if the fight is like a public
Fluff.
sphere fight about the meaning of a word. So it's not as though I just would want to like be against that type of project. It's just they're very different projects. If your question is, what do the folk, or whatever as philosophers, maybe economists too, would call it, what do they think this word feminism means? That's totally fine. Then we've just written on very different topics, I think.
We've written on very different topics, so they're just very, very different. She has no problem, it's just that stipulative definitions. We've basically they've got different. We've written different topics on very different topics. So she's repeating this idea of that's not the same project. Essentially, they're not the same project. Okay, so project. Now we have to use this word project. Now we have to go on to the semantics of the word project.
We and I could still be screwing up, so as far as reportive definitions going, am I doing okay or not?
Okay, so now he's asking about reporting. Look at this. Look at this. You can see his tactics, like give me answer, question, question, answer, question, answer, question, answer. Okay, just wants to. He's just getting an idea of what girl thinks here. So okay, as reportive. Definition. Am I doing okay? Like, again, we've had this question before, as in, not exactly the same wording, but of him saying, and we've had Louise herself ask Holly, wouldn't you say that this is what people think of when they hear the word feminism? Wouldn't most feminists say this is what feminism is about? wouldn't most feminists agree with this definition?
Of what the folk think a feminist is, do they think that it's that women are treated less fairly than men? I think that's probably not.
As far as reported definitions going, am I doing okay or not?
Of what the folk think a feminist is, do they think that it's that women are treated less fairly than men? I think that's probably not right.
Okay, so she's saying no, not right. Not right. Basically, the folk don't think of feminism as women seeing, as women think of feminism. They do not think that it's women being treated less fairly than men. Okay, so she wow, I'm getting really disappointed in her interaction here. It's getting like, you know, just because she's an academic and smart and able to have a conversation that's interesting, it doesn't stop her from going down these rabbit holes of just waffle. It's quite disappointing. And there's more of this?
Either.
So I'm not even doing well.
Go ahead, Louise.
We're halfway through. We have battled over the definition and have reached an impasse, but hopefully at least provided some clarity or provoked some thought in listeners. I want to get on to the more substantive bit of the debate, which is about, should we raise our daughters to be feminists? And there are various ways in which you could tackle this, which we've somewhat covered already. So the first is, I guess, the question of truth. Do we think that there is some truth to the feminist ideas, to feminist activism?
Okay, so yeah, we battled the. I think it's true that I think she's right. She realized it's halfway through and they have not gotten on to the prompt, right? So they definitely do not agree. She said the word impasse. They definitely do not agree on the definition. So you know what? Let's go. She's going, okay, fine. We can go onto the prompt itself, right? So she is going. Let's get onto the question. I suppose this definition disagreement would probably still come up, but we can talk about more practical things like activism. So getting into this part of this discussion will be a lot more fruitful than the past 40 minutes. I just want to get her description in, her starting off. So I'll just put getting to the prompt, or to the some clarity, provoke some thoughts. I want to go to the more substantive bit of the debate, which is getting to the prompt. Should we encourage our daughters to be feminists? Okay, and she breaks that down further and goes into truth. Okay, the question is truth. Do we think there is some truth to feminist ideas, to feminist activism, which is valuable just in the sense, okay?
We raise our daughters to be feminists. And there are various ways in which you could tackle this, which we've somewhat covered already. So the first is, I guess, the question of truth. Do we think that there is some truth to the feminist ideas, to feminist activism, which is valuable just in the sense of it's intellectually valuable or it's morally valuable? That's one question.
Okay, is there to feminism activists? Is it intellectually valuable? I think that's a separate question, so I'm going to put it in a different block, but related. Is it morally? Is it intellectually valuable? Okay.
On which I guess both of you are going to disagree. the other, maybe more interesting to my mind, or at least a debate that you hear less often, which is it good for you personally to be a feminist? Would it make your daughter's life richer and better?
Nice. That's it. Is it personally to be a feminist? Would it make your life better? And a lot of people, I think you are gonna make a lot of sad girls if you want them to be feminist. If you want your daughter to be a feminist, you're going to make her. Most people will call her. most people will say you're encouraging your daughter to be a Moni Harpy. Sorry. Hey Davina. Oh Davina, I'm actually finishing up here. We've got to 40 minutes here. I guess we continue this, or I continue this in the background at some point, because we've got other things to do next week. Yeah, because if I now feed the cats and then come back to this, we're only going to get 15 more seconds in. So that's where we're at. We have basically, for the past 2 episodes, okay, we have just been arguing definitions. We've really been arguing about the definitions and quibbling about little bits of semantics in there. It's not been fun. It's been very fun, but it's not gotten anywhere but an impasse, which fine. We have understood, thanks to Louise. She's also stated that there is an impasse. There is no getting them to agree on their definitions. Let's go on and ask ourselves other questions, and then we'll see how those different definitions affect the answers to this, right? Maybe within these questions, we'll get basically what you would need to do to answer these questions is under my definition, blah, 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 blah. Under her definition, blah, 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 blah. Under both of these definitions, blah, blah, blah. So, yeah, that's, I don't want to, this is getting to the good part, really. This is a very good question for the radical feminist, because a person who wants radical change in society is very, very much in an angsty position a lot of the time. If you are the one that's going against the grain, that's a very tough position to be in. If you can find righteousness in it and think that you're doing great, maybe that will be her argument. But for now, yeah, my answer to these questions is feminist activism has actually harmed women. Okay, it's harmed women and men. I'm not a fan of this. I think it's the same sort of thing as critical race theory. If we are now going to sit and continue harping on about how we're going to see discrimination in absolutely everything, it's going to make life actually more difficult. We're not going to get past this. We're never going to get past it. It's not going to be good for anyone. We're separating the sexes so far, and it's creating a birth rate crisis, in my opinion. But yeah, is it morally valuable? Is it intellectually valuable? Maybe intellectually, in terms of looking at history and being interested in that. Maybe that's what's valuable about feminism. But yeah, in terms of today's society, in terms of what feminism is today, no. I think we should be able to point out when there are cases of discrimination, sure, but we shouldn't be looking for them. We shouldn't be seeing our lives through this lens. It really just makes it's that if when you're a hammer, when you're a hammer, everything is a nail, or something like that. Yeah, take that. Is it personally good to be a feminist? I've already given my answer. So yeah, guys, that's where we're at with this very debate, and we will continue on at some point next week or the next week. Yeah, it obviously it doesn't help the channel when I dwell on one debate for a very long time, but I honestly I've really enjoyed this debate quite a lot. So, and I think I want to do more from Louise. So yeah, guys, stick around for that. But next week debate-wise, we are going to be doing Destiny and Pisco. We're going to be doing Destiny Pisco because Wick moderated it. I'm interested in moderation, moderation skills, being interested in how a moderator can structure a discussion. So that's why we're going to focus on that next week. And then, yeah, we might come back to this during next week. Tomorrow, well, tonight, or for you guys, I suppose, the think is going to be on just fiction. Okay, we're taking a break from a bit of politics, I suppose. We're going to go back into the culture war. So we're going to talk about politics, probably in terms of fiction. We're just going to have a good old time talking about fiction, about stories, about narratives, all of that good stuff in the think. So please look out for that tomorrow morning for those of us on this sort of side of the earth. And then after that we'll do a react stream, which is we'll do about an hour of react stream of, you know, the Friday slop. So we do some slop and then some gaming. So that's it, and the gaming will be on the gaming channel. So remember, gaming channel is that on Kitty Games. And well, if you're on Twitch, I'll be streaming on Twitch anyway. I think that's about all. Have a nice life, and okay, thanks, bye.
I'll see you next time, bro. Okay, thanks. Bye. We're squirty as fuck. Daisy's a mess, but we were having fun the whole time. I'll see you next time, bro. Okay, thanks. Bye. We're squirty as fuck. We're squirty as fuck. Daisy's a mess, but we were having fun the whole time. I'll see you next time, bro. Okay, thanks. Bye. We're squirty as fuck. We're squirty as fuck. We're squirty as fuck. Okay, thanks. Bye.